Derivative Jill.
There she is. There she is.
You know, I really wish they'd let us play music up here. Make these long trips go by a lot faster.
It's against regulations.
Yeah, I never understood that.
They just don't want us having a dance party when a proximity alert goes off.
See, that's a dumb reason. Because we'd already be on our feet, ready for action.
Welcome to Jill's.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello and welcome. I'm Anti-Derivative Jill. Welcome to Shore Leave number 27, where I talk about whatever you want to talk about. And when I told Scotty R37 it's a shore leave, he said, let's talk about Sky Captain and the world of tomorrow. But since this is a shore leave, we will keep the review fun, light, and short. And really, that's also my review of this movie. It's fun, light, and short. I'm getting tired of these 3-hour movies that don't even tell one complete story within the movie anymore. So a fun and normal length movie like this is a real treat. Even when there isn't all that much plot to go on, it's a lot of fun to watch. And I want to, before we talk about the movie, I want to welcome my panel to the show today. Thank you, Scotty R37, for bringing a little structure to this otherwise random shore leave.
Well, thank you for having me, Jill. It's great. I look forward to talking about the flick, and this is really fun. So thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And also welcome to Pleasant Valley Picker CA.
Hi, Jill. Hi, Scotty. How are you guys?
Do any picking lately?
No, I've been too busy. Well, I'm busy during Monday through Thursday. I'm working at my job. That keeps me pretty busy until like later in the afternoon, and by then everything's closing down most days, and so I don't get much done. I go out and get a few groceries at night once in a while, but so that's. And then on weekends, it seems I'm busy catching up on real life stuff, or else I'm on the YouTube here with you fine folks. So yeah, and I'm getting ready for my trip because I'm going to Vancouver in less than a week. I'll be flying down in an airplane about this time next Friday down to Vancouver.
Well, nice. Isn't that just the way it is? Reality does get in the way.
Yeah,
hobbies and things like that.
And
but I'm glad
wrapping birthday gifts.
Right, but I'm glad that you're making some time to go have a trip. And you're going to go see a band that you haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be cool.
I've never seen them. That's why
it's so cool. Oh, you've been a fan of them for a long time.
I've been a fan. I heard their first
of the Damned.
Their first single in 1976 on a compilation LP. Because, let's face it, in 1976, we were just beginning to hear punk. Because it was kind of trickling in slowly. Because it was not, it was not the dominant musical form disco was in 1976, right? So punk was like
you poor
weird,
people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember discos, not fondly, mind you, but I remember them. But punk was this weird little, problem child offshoot, nasty little, thing in the corner that, nobody was aware of for a while. And of course, all of us people that were really into like listening to everything we could, we grabbed onto punk right away, of course. Like I was probably one of the few punkers in my little city back in the day. And so I heard their song New Rose on the compilation LP in 1976. And right from that day, I thought, wow, these guys are awesome. And I'm so happy to finally see them because they still sound and look great because fans have been posting concert videos for the last week because they've hit North America now. And they've been playing all down the eastern side of the continent. So there's a lot of good stuff actually up on YouTube already. Anyway, I'm sorry to ramble, Jill.
No, that's fine. It's actually really great to hear from somebody who was actually there when punk rock started because my relationship with it was, I was just a normal, 12-year-old who just liked all the same music that every 12-year-old girl likes, Boys to Men and NSYNC and all that. And then somebody gave me Rancid. They mentioned Rancid.
Okay,
and then,
I remember them.
And then somebody started singing these songs, and they kept singing them, and I thought they were really funny. So I said, "What are you singing?" And then they said, "The Vandals." And so it happened all at once that I learned about punk rock like almost within a week.
Well, that's good. That's really good.
And I went to the music store, and so I don't know if they still do this. I haven't been in a music shop in a while, but where
Yeah,
you can put headphones on and listen to the
yeah,
songs.
they used to have that, but gosh, I think we've got one actual record shop up in the local mall here. Uh, but other than that, I remember when I was a kid, my hometown, they had Kelly's Records on one side of the street, and right across from it on the other side of the street was Freddie's Records. And they were both awesome shops because Kelly's was like the big corporate chain back then in my town, right? And they had all the
Mhm.
albums, like the top 30 albums. They'd sell them. They were on like $4.99 for a vinyl LP back in the day. Like you don't get those prices anymore. And right across was Freddie's Records, and Freddie was actually a lady, a very sexy lady, by the way, that I used to admire quite greatly when I go in and buy records at her shop. And she was cool because she would have all the weird stuff, like the punk stuff. 'Cause Freddie was like eclectic that way, right? And she would get all kinds of different bands that the mainstream might not be aware of. So that's where you know,
Oh, speaking of really hot ladies who have boy names,
uh-huh.
we are going to talk about a movie that has such a person in it
Wow.
called Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding either. I
Okay.
was just
Great.
thinking.
Gee, that's good. That tied in.
I mean, I'm spoiling it already, but
Oh well, I haven't seen the movie, so you can't spoil it. Well, you could spoil it, but I'm sure it won't be that spoiled.
well, it's hard to spoil the whole thing because it's such a simple action adventure movie.
Isn't there a lot of CGI in this movie? I remember reading about it years ago
Yeah, but
when it
you know
came
what?
out.
It looks beautiful.
Okay.
It's really, I don't know. It doesn't jump out you like it's clunky CGI. No, it feels nice.
Oh,
I
good.
don't I think this guy he got like an Apple computer in his garage and he started doing animation.
Wow, that's even more impressive than if he was working on this in his garage.
It just seems like a passion project that he did because he never directed
Wow,
anything else, right?
gosh,
I don't
wow.
know.
Yeah,
Is this
they
the only movie he ever made then? Scotty
yes.
would know. Wow,
Yes.
wow,
He did. This
wow.
was very much in the early 2000s. He got a Mac and put together a 6-minute short called "The World of Tomorrow," and
Oh,
it got attention on the internet. And
okay.
they gave the Conran brothers, I want to say like $30 million. They were willing to make the movie for 3. And they said, well, no, we need stars. So that's how you get Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelina Jolie in here.
Right.
Didn't it got a lot of buzz when it came out.
Hmm.
It didn't make a big splash at the box office. I actually remember seeing it in the theater and
Cool.
walking out of it saying it was Sky Crafton and the crap of crap Morrow. I really hated it the first time I saw it, and I
Really?
haven't seen it since. Yeah.
So
And
you've
so,
chosen a movie that you really hated when you first saw it for today's Shore Leave. That's very interesting, Scotty.
well, I wanted to revisit it and see if it was how I thought. And watching it, it's got an interesting look to it, and it's old timey,
Oh,
almost like
cool,
Max
cool.
Fleischer animations.
Oh, I
It's got a
love Max
sepia.
Fleischer.
Yeah, it's got like a sepia tone hue to it. I think it would have been better if it were in black and white, but the sepia is good.
Oh, so it's like
And
30s
yes,
homage kind of thing.
yeah, it's kind of like an alternate World War II where there
Yes,
are giant
yes,
robots.
yeah.
Neat. Ooh, giant
With
robots. I like
yeah, with
that.
giant robots
Wow,
who are stealing all of the world's natural resources
this is
for
great.
some for a special for a reason that you have to wait to see, and then eventually you find out why.
I got to watch this movie then. Wow, this sounds good.
Yeah,
Well, and
Wow.
as Jill
well,
said, it's
because
brisk. It's only an hour and 46 minutes. It's actually it flies by, and everybody's good looking people doing attractive things.
No, that's nothing
yes,
wrong with
and
that.
it's just a classic story of a hero, and there's a villain, and The villain thinks he knows what's best for the world, and
Well,
It
don't they
almost
always?
reminds me, yeah, it almost reminds me of like BioShock in a weird way, or
Bioshock?
Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas. Like it does have certain aspects, and maybe that's just lent to the idea of that it's all digital backgrounds and whatnot, and so it does look a little video gamey. Some of the
yes,
plot
I
is a little
felt.
video gamey, but it's great.
Yes, I felt like it was a video game, but it was a cutscene that I was happy to watch.
Did they ever
Mhm.
make it into a video game?
No.
Oh, well, maybe they
Oh,
should
that's
think
not
about
quite
that.
true. That's not
Oh,
quite true.
is that because it was like a Flash web game?
Yeah, there was a Flash web game. I haven't seen it yet. Do you want to see it right now?
Sure.
I didn't download. I didn't realize there was a game. If somebody told me that last night,
Wow.
I would have figured out how to run it on my computer, but I found out just 15 minutes ago. So I just got this footage from YouTube. I
So
don't
you're
think
gonna
it'll get
be
acclaim.
playing this on one of your gaming streams sometime? Jill?
Probably not. I hear it's terrible.
Oh, it might be fun to
But-
just throw it on for like 5 minutes or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, as a prank. Yeah.
Yeah, as a
I
prank,
should have.
just to entertain us fans. Like we'll just
Well,
chat away about how terrible it is in the chat, and everybody will have a good time.
well, in the meantime, let's just check
In
it
the
out
meantime,
now.
in between time. Ooh,
Air Combat Challenge.
well, the
Nice.
planes look kind of cool. Oh,
Well, and they turn into submarines as well.
Oh, I like that. I was at the Flying Tigers. They're such cool looking planes.
Yeah, I love that in this movie that the airplanes just go underwater. It's so it makes me think of UFO.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
speaking of UFO, it's been quite a few Fridays since you've done a UFO. Come to think of it, and when you mentioned it, Jill,
Yeah, that's true.
quite a few months.
Well, you're right. It's about time I go back and see what Straker's up to.
Actually, the game doesn't look that bad. It kind of reminds me of the Death Star scene in Star Wars, the way you're flying through narrow passageways here.
It is
Well-
kind of. It does look kind of cool.
It
It
doesn't
looks
look bad.
cool.
It doesn't look.
The-
What year is this? Like, it's got to be ancient, right? Like in video game
Well,
dates.
I'm not going to my high school reunion. So I
Oh,
think that this is kind of interesting that this movie comes out when I graduated high school. So this is so it came out in 2004.
it's
So I'm
20 years
guessing
old-
the
20
game
years,
was also made in 2004.
20 years old then. It's got a few years on it.
Yeah. And so no, well, I don't think I'm going to be playing that game, but it looks like fun.
It looks exactly like a browser-based flying game from 2004, which has its charm. Just enough to get you to do something so that you're just kill a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I didn't pull it up to try to play it because it doesn't work online anymore because it used to connect to a server.
Oh, it's down.
Yeah, the server for Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow video game is down.
Oh
from
well.
20 years ago. I do also have to welcome everybody who's listening. Hello to Matt G. Matt G is here giving us some towel symbols, some pie.
Hey, Maggie.
Hey, Matt G.
And also Keith E, who I thought he was trying to say happy birthday to me. It's not my
Yeah, I
birthday.
thought that
but
was
he
really funny, but you didn't get the joke at first, did you, Jill?
No, but he meant
your
my
derivative.
son.
Jill's
Yeah, now I
derivative.
get it. Now I get it.
That was
I
hilarious.
didn't get it at first.
I was laughing my butt off at that joke. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Good one, Keith
it
E.
is. Booger414 says, "Are we there yet?" Yeah. This is back when I hadn't yet started the stream.
Are we
Great to
the
see you,
yet sounds?
Keithy.
Are we the yet sounds kind of cool too. Those kind of Shakespearean, Are we the yet?
Well, I'll forgive thou.
Ha.
UK Danger Man Reviews says,
Ooh.
I haven't seen this film. That one passed me by. Me too. I had no idea this
Yeah, me
movie
too.
even existed.
I heard about it, but I never saw it. I don't think it ever showed at the local cinema. Actually, come to think of it,
Alan Trioscillator said, "Hey there, panel and chat."
you got
Hey,
some
Alan.
new people on here today. It looks like, Jill, in the chat there.
Oh, actually, I've seen UK Danger Man before. Actually, he's a really, really great YouTuber. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, wait, we have a very awesome man in the chat here.
Have you ever seen Danger Man, Jill?
Yes, I have. He has Star Trek reviews. He does lots of incredible work.
Well, that's cool. Actually, you should post a link in the chat there for his
Yeah,
channel. But I'm actually talking
yes,
about
I
the
should.
I'm talking about the TV series Danger Man with Patrick McGowan, who was in
Oh,
The
that.
Prisoner. Danger Man, a lot of fans theorize Danger Man's character is actually the same guy that gets kidnapped in the Prisoner series, which is kind of a cool link to those shows.
Hey, that's cool. Anytime.
Danger Man's really good if you ever get around to watching it, Jill. Actually, Danger Man started as a half-hour show, and then it got changed into an hour-long show called Secret Agent. Well, at least they called it Secret Agent in North America here. And McGowan is awesome in it, just like he in The Prisoner. He's really good, and the scripts are very intelligent and well written too. So it's a very good show.
Well, anytime you can expand the universe for older shows like that, that is a lot of fun.
Well, the thing is, I think Danger Man's character is called Drake in the series, and I think there is an episode of The Prisoner where someone refers to Number 6 as Drake, if I remember correctly. It's kind of a tenuous connection, but a lot of us fans have the head canon where it's like the same guy, right? Which
Works
is kind
out.
of fun. Exactly, it's
Rogo
fun.
says, "Happy birthday to your son." Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, happy birthday.
He's
to your son,
he's
Jill.
getting too old. He's going to be taller than I am very soon.
Oh well, that happens.
But yeah, no, we have a movie with Zeppelins. It has lots of fun
Zeppelins are cool.
vehicles.
Unless they explode, then they're not.
Well, yes, that is a problem if that happens.
Oh, the humanity.
It does look it does look kind of video gamey, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it has lots of different vehicles, lots of neat looking buildings and airplanes. It's really pretty. I can say that much.
And stylized for the era that it's supposed to be. It does look really cool. It kind of reminds me almost of The Shadow, if you've seen that Alec Baldwin flick from the 90s.
Yeah, The Shadow knows.
Yeah.
I remember hearing bits of the old radio serial way back whenever that was. They used to play it on the radio, I think, on Sunday nights on the local channel. And who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. I still remember that stuff. Actually, it would be fun to go back and listen to some of those old serials, maybe, but I'll probably never have the time. So,
well, if their radio plays, just play them when you're traveling.
Well, yeah, I could play them in the background when I'm washing dishes or something, I guess. Liven up the day a bit, with some mystery, suspense. This is quite an interesting looking film. Oh, wow. They got Judy.
Well, they're at the movie theater. Nice. They're at the movie. Polly, the reporter, the plucky reporter, is
plucky.
She is. She's talking to somebody who says that they know who's kidnapping all the scientists and who's going to be kidnapped next. And he's like, "It's me. I'm going to be kidnapped next." And so that's how the movie starts, and that's how the quest to find the villain Totenkopf. That is said several times during the movie.
That's a cool
and
shot.
Then actiony things happen.
Oh, the flying robots! Those look like kind of like the robots in that Fleischer Superman cartoon. I remember years ago. They are very similar, kind of looking. I love. And that's Fleischer Superman cartoons are amazing, actually. Sorry,
absolutely. Oh no! I get the same vibe, and there's a lot of that stuff just in terms of the Art Deco 1940s sort of aesthetic that is punched in. by way of Fleischer, and that was the appeal of it
It's
when I
got,
first saw it.
yeah, it's got a Fleischer quality to it, doesn't it? It really does. Wow, this is
I
quite
think
cool.
at first I didn't know what to think of this movie, and then I saw the giant robots, and I knew everything was going to be okay. And
Sky Captain.
it is definitely a way to spend some time.
Well, and that's the thing. It kind of also is evocative of those 30s serials like Rocket Man and the Bullet People or whatever. It is.
I love that she had to tear her dress to run better. Like this
Yes.
dress, no, time to tear it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's always a good excuse that they need to run faster so they can tear the dress and show more leg, for the guys in the audience.
Oh yeah, showing more than ankle. That was
That's
risque in
well, yeah,
1930.
back in those days. Yeah.
But all the little gadgets that come out of the plane with his with Sky Captain's mines, and he's got tripwires and doing all sorts of aerial daring do.
I want to say hello in the chat to Dan Leckie and
Dan.
pop culture curator, who's looking forward to Dan Leckie's upcoming live stream about the Corbomite maneuver on Saturday. Yeah, so that's true. The Subspace Chatter channel. I'm so glad that you're here to talk about that.
Yeah,
There we go. So definitely check out Subspace Chatter. They like to talk about TOS, so what more fun is that? Snortopoopus Cuber says, I think this took place in an alternate reality. Oh, Brogu's leaving. I just noticed. Bye, Brogu.
Oh.
Sorry, I missed
Cheers,
that.
Brogu.
Goodbye, Brogu.
Enjoy your stream and enjoy your weekend, Jill. This is the way. And Snortopoopus said, I think this took place in an alternate reality. World War II didn't happen. The reference to the First World War was probably a mistake. Can't have a first if you didn't have a second. That's right. They would have just called it World War. A World War.
Oh, that's
a
true.
World War. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of an episode of Doctor Who where the doctor, Capaldi's doctor, sees a general or a major from World War I, and he's like, "Oh, we must be in 1917 because your uniform looks like World War I." And the major's like, "Sorry, what was that?" And he's like, "You just look like you're from World War I. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "Yeah, but what do you mean World War I?"
That's
like,
good. That's good writing, actually. That's good
But
writing.
speaking of good writing, Keith E provides a counterpoint for a case in which you would refer to something as first without having a second. I'm still looking for my first wife.
Well, and during this montage, they do say with the world's militaries being stretched thin. So I do think that, I don't know if there is no World War II or if they're in the middle of World War II. I'm not sure.
That's a good question. Wow.
Well, that looks kind of Yahtzee like that little symbol there we saw a second ago.
Oh,
I thought so too. Yeah. But this was such a such a fun romp of a movie. I didn't really think about any wars. I just thought about robots destroying things.
Yeah, but then they go right to Berlin, so it seems like there's a connection.
Well, that's because
connection there, like
in terms of collecting all of the things that Dr.
Tokyo.
Yeah, they're all over the world collecting things, and so this is a global crisis that transcends World War II. I think I'm surprised I hated it so much when I saw it the first time.
Maybe it's like some kind of metaphor for World War II or something that they didn't want to directly tackle.
Well, maybe you were expecting like some kind of deep story or something, and you don't get that here. It's just really, really surface level. If this were a video game, you'd be going to Tokyo, to Berlin to defeat all the robots before you ever get to the.
I'm actually surprised they don't develop a quality. They could develop a really good quality game based on this idea and make it a lot of fun. I'm surprised they never did. because it could have been really great if it was done properly.
Well, and
No,
that's
it was done. It was done exactly the way the creator wanted, so it was done properly.
Well,
yeah,
I
it
mean,
just
they
didn't
could have been
connect with
done better.
audiences.
I'll rephrase. They could have been done better, maybe, as in
Well,
more effective, more cool, more fully realized. Is what I'm
I
trying to
Well,
say.
it is the fact that it was a box office failure.
mhm,
Yeah,
It supposedly cost 70 million,
savage.
ouch, ouch.
and made 30.
That's where I got the 30 from. Okay.
Okay, it tanked then. Okay.
But and that's something that I find sort of funny when it comes to modern internet film discourse, is if something didn't make money, then it obviously was a failure, instead of just not finding an audience or having mismanaged marketing. Sometimes things don't make money and they can still be good. Like
Well,
the
it's a
original
box
Blade
office.
Runner was a bomb.
Yeah, just because it's a
That's
box office failure doesn't mean the film is a failure artistically.
and that's
right?
why I qualified it as such. I didn't say it was a failure.
Oh
Period.
no, and I'm making generalizations about
Okay, just making sure.
Well, a lot of
yeah.
great films have tanked. I mean, I remember, It's a Wonderful Life, which kind of has a Christmassy feel towards the latter part of the film, came out in the summer. Why they released it in the summer, I'll never know. But it tanked and it bombed at the box office. And now, I mean, it's like a Christmas staple. It's like considered an all-time classic film now by, many people. But at the original release, it died, badly at the box office. So, it doesn't matter what it does at the box office ultimately.
But it was a
Right.
fun adventure movie, so yeah,
It looks
exactly.
great.
It
looks
the only
great.
time the box office matters is when it happens, and then it
Yeah,
means you don't get any more movies about it. But
yeah. I like the way they
Not
got the look of the characters too. Like the lady here, she's
oh,
definitely got like a
sheesh.
1930s, 40s, look to her. Like that's classic
Yeah,
of
she
the
does.
era. She looks great.
Anyhow, I want to say see you later to UK Danger Man reviews. Thanks so much, Joe. I have to go get ready for my stream. Take care of yourself and have a great weekend. Have a wonderful stream. Thank you so much for stopping by. I was very excited to see you here. I hope it
cheers.
goes well.
Yeah, have a good one there, Danger Man.
Keithy says today is Salvation Army Donut Day, both based on the donuts they gave out during World War One. And Shield Wall of Dragons is here. What's up? Yeah, we're having a shore leave today, and we're starting off with a brief review of Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow with a reporter who uses this camera throughout the movie, but eventually, the thrill of it is that she's down to her last two shots. Can she get the two most amazing pictures ever?
Well, and that's something we'd have to explain to the young people in the audience, is that back in the day, cameras needed film. And so you only had 24 to 36 exposures available in your roll of film.
That's
Then
right.
you'd have to
And you
take
ha-
that film to a chemical processing shop where they would
and
develop
wait,
those
and
photos.
wait, and wait, and wait,
Yep.
because it wasn't 24 hours back in those days. It'd probably be a week before you got it back.
Oh, remember 1 hour
Uh,
photos? One hour photo kiosks? If
I
you
do
absolutely
remember.
needed it quickly.
I do remember it got to the point where you could get it in like a day or something, which was nice. But yeah, I
Oh,
don't think
it
we
got
ever had
even
the 1
faster
hour
than that.
here. I don't think we had the 1 hour ones here locally, but
Yeah,
there's a
well,
local.
it did remind me of when I was a kid and I had those little disposable cameras, and I would get like 7 of them and go on vacation and have just a whole bunch of little cameras and take them to the processor, like you said,
And then you
and
dispose of them, not
and
recycle them, unfortunately.
hope that I didn't put my thumb in front of every shot.
Did
Yeah.
you? Sorry,
When
Joe.
you took a picture, you just had to hope that it came out well.
Oh
You
yeah.
didn't find out until much, much later.
That's
But even
okay,
going to
PvP. You're out of practice. Go
a
ahead.
bunch of weddings. I remember going to weddings where they would just put one of those disposable cameras on each table so that the guests themselves could be the photographer for the wedding. That's also. Oh man, this movie's making me feel old.
Well, yeah, it is. It should, because it's from 2004, and this is basically, well, this is the end of my childhood for me.
I'm
When
still
this
very much in the middle of mine.
happened. Except for it's set in the 1930s, so did they have cameras like that in the 30s? What is
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah, they had some pretty funky looking cameras back then, if I remember correctly. Not that I'm an expert on cameras, but I have looked at a few different cameras over. Well, I took photography at art school for
Oh,
a
that's right.
semester,
You are
so
an
I
artist.
yeah.
Shield
So
Wall of Dragon says, I like the aesthetic of this
I
movie.
still
And
have my
Booger says, I.
Nikon.
Oh, you still have your Nikon?
Yeah, it's over actually just across the room here. I can see the bag sitting there right from where I sit. Yeah, I still got it. Nice camera, but I haven't used it in years.
Booger414 says, I was always told that my grandfather appreciated those donuts when he got off the ship returning
I'm
from Europe.
I bet they did. After being over in the war, I bet donuts look pretty darn good, actually. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Neat. Uh, maybe Alan Trioscillator says World War One was also known as the Great War.
It
So
was.
people might have called it that if there was no second one.
That would make sense, yeah. Though I always found it a bit ironic that they called any war the Great War, but that's what they called it. Because I guess it was big, a big, big war.
Also, Snortopoopas adds,
Ah,
I noticed that the Hindenburg 3, no such thing in the real world, didn't have swastikas, which implies that the Germany in the movie wasn't the same one from our history.
Well, it's kind of like Captain America, the first Avenger, that because Red Skull is supposed to be a Nazi, but they quickly dispense with the Nazi imagery and swastikas and whatnot just to make it Hydra, so that they don't get bogged down in real world politics. But yeah, Hindenburg 30. I thought that
Yeah,
was an interesting little addition.
that could be the case here too, is that they don't want to deal with that.
probably. That's because, I mean, they're basically making a fun movie from what you guys have said about it. I mean, I've never seen it, so I'm just taking you at your word what you guys are talking about. But it sounds like they just wanted to make a fun fantasy film. And so it's like an
It is.
alternate reality, basically, it seems, which is fine. I
And
don't mind alternate
and
realities.
that makes sense.
Yeah, the reality of this particular film doesn't necessarily vex me too much in terms of, because they eventually get to a point where there are aircraft that basically flap their wings like they're mechanical bats, essentially.
Okay. It's definitely like a
They're
cartoon in a way then.
oh
It
yeah,
is absolutely a cartoon. I think I was thinking about Tailspin,
Oh, there they are.
but from
Wow, those are
Disney.
cool. Those look really cool. Wow. Actually, man, I got to watch this movie sometime. This looks really cool.
Well, and it makes sense that I'm thinking about Disney because Carrie Conran did study Disney animation at Cal Arts. So that's how
Oh,
he got into 2D animation.
so there's an influence then, it sounds like. Yeah.
There's lots of influences. I think of Indiana Jones a bit, and
well, and they even do have a Buck Rogers comic book.
yes, they
This is
do.
Dex, and he is our inventor, our sidekick inventor, almost like Bucky. And he's developed a lot of the technologies that we see here, and
Mhm.
even like there's a Buck Rogers ray gun that shoots like the rings of electricity. It's pretty cool. Oh no!
Yeah. Oh, wait. Speaking of that, I'm going to. Well, I wish I were faster at this. Oh, wait. It's here.
What do we got? Yeah. It's nice to see Giovanni
YouTube
Ribisi.
dance.
Did he get canceled? I don't remember.
I don't know
I know
about that, but look, here's the
Yeah,
Buck
there's
Rogers
Buck
comic.
Rogers. Cool.
Nice.
But you're right. I do like the engineer. He gets kidnapped, so that's a big plot in the movie. He's trying to find him, so he's got to find his friend and also deal deal with the
world
robots.
ending. Yeah.
Yeah, the robots stealing all of the things, all of the refineries and the oil and the gas. And, I don't know, every coal. I don't remember all the things that they listed that they're stealing, but
Well, and it is entertaining because they do have these sort of chases throughout New York City, and they're navigating the streets as if it's a car. And so the plane, like Sky Captain's plane, never rises above the buildings and ends up getting into a dead end, which I thought was entertaining. Maybe I just didn't suspend my disbelief enough the first time I saw it. I was expecting something a little bit grittier, but this is still a couple of years before even Sin City came out, which
You
would
know,
have been another green
that
screen comic booky adaptation kind of thing.
flying through the city, that reminds me, wasn't there a sequence like that in one of the Batman films, one of the trilogy that they made?
Maybe with
Um,
the Dark Knight Rises when he has the
yeah,
bat.
he's chasing the train, like the subway train or whatever it is, the elevated train. I think he's
I think
chasing at one scene through the city.
that's in Batman Begins, but the flying basically bat plane is what it
Yeah.
is in the third one.
Okay.
See, and there you
Mhm.
go. And more robots with their tentacle arms, and there's the ray gun shooting.
Yeah, it's very cool.
the design of these robots make me very happy.
Oh
It's
yeah?
very
Yeah,
Max
Snortapoopa says this movie has a diesel punk feel to it.
You
Good
mean
calls.
Cyberpunk?
No. Diesel punk. There are many different kinds of
Oh,
punks. You
so
can get
there's
your
a diesel punk.
steampunk,
Okay.
cyberpunk,
I
diesel
don't
punk.
remember
Yeah.
hearing about diesel.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
It's but it very that's hits the nail on the head. I was wondering what kind of punk this was, but yes, Poopa's diesel punk.
So, Scotty R37, what is the difference between cyberpunk and diesel punk?
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
Cyberpunk is something that it's sort of like 80s aesthetic technology, your Blade Runners and Johnny Mnemonics, like computers and hacking and things like that. Diesel punk would be anything like basically everything in the world is run on diesel, on fuel. It's gas based, and so it's all machineries and gears and almost like a Mad Max, but not post-apocalyptic. And then steampunk is the same sort of retro technology, but it's all, instead of being powered by batteries or
It's
gasoline,
steam. Yeah.
it's steam. Yeah.
Well, I think steampunk for me originated with the Wild Wild West TV series because that was very much a steampunk kind of show. Like the
Yeah.
technology, I mean, well, they drove around a steam powered train for crying out loud, right? So, I mean, of course.
So then, what do you call Fallout? Is it like atomic punk
Yeah, I guess so. Atom punk,
or nuclear punk? I don't know. Somebody needs to
post-apocalyptic
figure this out.
atom punk. Let's find out.
All this talk about punk is going to make me change my avatar to the Damned. There we go.
Alan Trioscillator says newspapers likely had developing labs, darkroom houses for their photographers. And Shield Wall of Dragon says it is very 1930s, much like the Rocketeer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But yeah, it is
But
called
a lot more fantasy. I feel like Rocketeer could actually happen.
Yeah, the only
Except for
suspension it did,
except for burning your ass with the
yeah.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, you need the asbestos pants for sure.
But yeah, Atom Punk is aesthetic centered around the view from the future from the perspective of 1950s and 60s. Modern depictions tend to use distinct, brightly lit, colored art style, but also appear just as it does in the page's main image. Which I didn't read that far ahead, so I don't know what the page's main image. Oh yeah, no, that is retrofuturism is it, but yeah, also referred to as ray punk.
Yes, Shield Wall of Dragon says Fallout is retrofuturism. Yeah, that makes sense.
And Atom Punk.
And also gives us a timeline. Steampunk is 1880 to 1910. Diesel punk is 1910 to 1940s.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, well, don't forget there's the cyberpunk as well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the fellow that invented cyberpunk. Gosh, do you remember his name, Scotty? I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
William Gibson is usually credited.
Gibson. William Gibson actually.
Oh,
William Gibson actually attended Emily Carr College, where I went to art school. He went to the
Yes.
same school. He graduated, I think, about 5 years before I did. So that's pretty cool to know that he walked the same hallways I did. Like, just throwing that in there for a little tidbit.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's kind of cool, there were a couple of real famous people that actually graduated from my school, and he was one of the big names for sure. Yeah, good old William Gibson, cyberpunk guy.
yeah. So, and it's presented in a really great way here. Oh, look, some bubblegum.
Double bubble.
I used to buy Double Bubble as a kid. That was good.
And so they know they need to go to Nepal. And when they go to Nepal, I actually think of Lord of the Rings too, because when we get to the scenes, it looks exactly like Rivendell to me. Even though I know they've shot the movie in New Zealand, and even though I know that Tolkien was probably influenced by Switzerland, for some reason, how they depict Shangri-La in this movie looks like Rivendell.
Mm-hmm. And that's I remember part of the buzz and the promotion for this is having they basically recreated Laurence Olivier in the third act just to play Dr. Totenkopf, and it was somewhat controversial in terms of sort of using the imagery of a deceased actor. So this would have been sort of a pioneer in that regard, no matter what your opinions are on reviving actors who
Wait,
passed on.
is that what happened? Who passed on that they depicted
Dr.
in this
Totenkopf?
movie? Yeah.
That his image was Laurence Olivier.
Oh, did
And
he get a
so
credit in the movie? I guess I missed that.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it
that's
was like
good.
it
Yeah,
was
I
like
remember that was quite a big thing for a while, wasn't it? Talking about using deceased actors and reviving them digitally for films, and that was pretty controversial.
Well, wait.
It's not
How did they
Still is.
popular
do that?
idea. Well, they've done
How
it. I
did?
mean, I think
No, I'm
didn't they?
asking Scotty R37 how they did it in this movie.
Oh, good point.
CGI. It was early CGI, and they used existing film footage of him and then manipulated it so that he would say the words that they had scripted for it. And this is, yeah, you're right, in terms
Wow.
of the controversy for it, because there was a famous commercial for a
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner with Fred Astaire dancing with the vacuum cleaner, and the estate
Yes.
of Fred Astaire said, "What did you can't do that."
Yeah, I was
But
going to
then,
mention the commercial. Actually, yeah, that's what I was going to point out. Thanks, Scotty, because I
oh,
remember
cheers.
that. I remember seeing that. Actually, it was weird.
And now you have Peter Cushing being revived for Rogue One as Grand Moff Tarkin, and
Yeah.
the stock footage or the unused footage from The Force Awakens and Last Jedi being inserted into the Rise of Skywalker. It is still something that people are debating the ethics of.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if it's used in a tasteful way, that doesn't degrade the actor's legacy, and the estate gets the money. I suppose if the estate is willing to do it, I suppose that's up to them ultimately. I would think, because the estate should be controlling the image, right? Unless the star signed their image away, as I know some have. But yeah, it is kind of controversial still, isn't it, Scotty?
Well, and I think
Yes.
it recently came up because of the affliction that Bruce Willis is suffering from, but he has sold his likeness for future uses, or licensed it out. But I think that that's also an instance of Bruce Willis and Bruce Willis's family trying to sort of accumulate as much as possible before he sadly passes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and we also had it with the Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife, even though they
Oh,
did
yeah.
it right because they didn't have him saying anything. It was just his image. And I like the way they did it there. But since we're talking about this part of the movie, I want to make sure to play this clip that I didn't get too many clips for this movie today. I ran out of time like I usually do. But we could I didn't realize this person was not actually acting for this movie, but here's his line.
Who dares come before me?
Who dares enter this place? What is begun cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. It doesn't sound like they were cutting disparate words together. They mixed it really well.
And also nice sort of bracketing of showing Dr. Totenkopf as almost a Wizard of Oz-esque character, and showing that movie in the theater at the beginning of the film. Love it. Man, I'm
Yes.
beating myself up for my opinions in 2004, but I'm just glad that I can mature enough to change my mind.
Well, you had a different kind of expectation going into it, and age sometimes changes your perceptions, and
Yeah.
it's good, and then sometimes it's a good thing.
And then that's an actor that I had seen in The Mummy, I think, and it was fun to see him here as well.
I really like The Mummy. It's
You
what
like The Mummy?
my yeah, well, it's what my geography teacher showed us instead of actually teaching us geography. And
Oh, nice.
don't know
Oh,
geography.
that sounds good. That's a good teacher. Get your
No,
imagination.
he wasn't.
Oh, okay. It's still,
No,
you
but
gotta
I
see
did
the
enjoy the
Mummy.
movie. Mhm.
You got to see a movie. Yeah, that's always good. I just I put a page in the private chat there, Jill. You might want to check us out while we're doing the stream. It's a reference to the Mechanical Monsters, one of the Fleischer Brothers Superman cartoons, and it actually references Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow here, as it was influenced by that cartoon. So you might want to take a brief look at that.
Well, if you're talking about it already, why do I have to bring it up? You can tell me.
Well, I just thought, okay.
In fact, you just did, right?
Yeah. No, but I was just saying you might want to take a look at it even later then, because it is pretty cool the way the robots look I mean, they look a lot like the robots in this film.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot.
Okay, now I understand. You want me to show the picture?
Yeah, it's not the best picture in the article, unfortunately, but they do fly as well, and when they fly, they really look like the robots in this movie. So
Okay, so well, they're not flying in this particular picture.
yeah, there's probably other pictures on the internet. I don't know if you want to bother looking for any, but if you just put in Superman, Max Fleischer, Superman, Mechanical Monsters, that'll probably bring up a whole bunch of images.
Superman robots flying. And so, okay. And there's Superman. I guess he's
On the
hitching a
back one.
ride.
Yeah, he's probably trying to either get back to the evil villain's lair, or maybe he's trying to bring one down. But they're very.
And if you want the toys, here it looks. I don't know. This is not a toy. This is a cartoon or something. I don't know.
It looks like some fan made thing actually to me.
I think
But
you're
yeah,
probably right. I have no idea what I'm
see,
looking at.
as you can see, the film definitely, to a large extent, copied the look of the Fleischer Brothers robots in that cartoon.
I
And
think
those
that
are
there were
great
lots of
cartoons.
different influences, and I'm glad that you noticed one of them. That was probably correct. I don't know exactly. Uh, oh, okay. Actually, it says here he was influenced by the Chicago World's. Okay, so he was influenced by the design of Norman Bell Geeds, who did work for the 1933 Chicago World's Fair and New York World's Fair too.
Yeah, just a bit on the Wikipedia page here. It says the Mechanical Monsters is the first story from any medium that features Clark Kent using a telephone booth. Interesting. I did not know that. The plot device, blah blah blah. The Mechanical
Well,
Monsters is referenced in Hayao Miyazaki's animated film Castle in the Sky, in the 2004 film A Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow, directed by Gary Conran. An army of robots attack New York City as a reference to the short film. So I think there is definitely a link there. I just wanted to point out, Jill.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat's saying. I'm on all different kinds of screens now. Let's see. There's also clock punk from
What?
14th to 17th century, although for purely silly reasons. I like that I like to call that ruffle punk.
Ruffle punk.
Well, they did have a lot of ruffles
Clock
back
punk.
then, I guess, didn't they?
No, but what?
Well, the clothing, like ruffles in their clothing.
No, yes, I
Ruffles.
understand. I'm confused at the idea of clock punk. Like just clock. Like I would have thought that would have just been steampunk.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Snorty's making something up there, possibly.
No, he didn't. He did not make it up. It's real.
Oh my God!
It's just
I don't
that
believe it.
I guess it just means that everything is clocks.
Jeez. Wow,
It's,
how many types of punk do we have here today? Wow, this is getting like a long
What is
list.
Scott?
Oh, clock punk is a subgenre of steampunk, reimagines the Renaissance period, 14th to 17th century, to include retro futuristic technology.
Mm-hmm. Fancy.
Wow.
Shield Wall says this movie has an old style silver lighting effect from classic movies, but I think they use CGI to gain that effect. Yes, they did use CGI for most things, but I think it's captivating. I think it's not. It doesn't feel like, oh no, this movie's all CGI. What terrible garbage. They actually did it in an artistic way that makes it look pretty.
Yeah. Oh, the aesthetic of it is very unique. It is striking, and apparently, it's just littered with sort of golden era, silver screen, classic movie references. Apparently, in one of the shots when the robots are attacking New York City, you can see King Kong climbing the Empire State Building in the background.
Oh, I missed that.
Wow,
That's
amazing.
hilarious.
So they just put that in like an Easter egg kind of idea, almost just like in the background, like you might not even notice it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, this is one of the things that kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones, is having a big stake like this, like everything's about to blow up and you got to get out of there. And it reminds me of the walls closing in. And
in Temple of Doom.
and yeah. But in this case, some guy just opens the door, so I also thought it was funny.
Yes. Why did you lock the door?
Oh, and yeah, that guy. I forgot his name, so I call him Vienna Sausages because he was so happy to get his Vienna sausages.
Yes.
And there are these little vials. What were those vials? I already forget
Adam
what
and
the
Eve.
vials were.
Adam and Eve. They were genetic material so that Dr. Totenkopf could recreate the human race on the Ark.
Speaking of genetic material, so these guys undress all three of these people. For what reason? I have no idea why. Like they say that your clothes were infected, and so we had to burn them. And so so all three of our heroes end up naked in a bed.
Maybe sorry, Joe. Maybe they wanted them to exchange genetic materials. I'm guessing, perhaps, possibly.
No, there was nothing sexual about it.
Okay.
It was this is absolutely platonic scene.
Okay.
There's no orgy happening.
Oh darn. Oh,
darn.
I'm so disappointed. Oh man.
It's just they just had to get rid of the clothes.
Okay.
Well, they had investigated that mine, and apparently it was a uranium mine, and so I'm assuming that it
radioactive.
was exactly.
Okay, that makes more sense. I forgot about the radiation. It was really late last night, and I guess I missed that detail. Thank you. That explains everything. It's still really strange to just get rid of somebody.
All right. Here's the deal. We need to get Gwyneth Paltrow naked. All right? What do we do? Radiation? Yeah, that works. Do it. Print it.
It worked.
Hey, why not? Why not?
Well, I can't knock it because Star Trek Enterprise does the same thing with T'Pol.
Yes.
Decontamination is always the excuse for getting naked in a platonic way.
I'll have to remember to use that line on my next date whenever I have one. Come on, we got to decontaminate now.
There you go. Let's get you out of those radiated clothes.
That's right.
So this is the Shangri-La scene that reminds me of Rivendell.
That's a cool scene. Is that's CGI, right? That's not a matte painting or anything.
Digital matte painting, but yeah, see, I think
Yeah,
beautiful.
it does feel like a matte painting. Very astute.
It's kind of like Shangri-La or something kind of look almost.
It is. It is exactly Shangri-La.
Yeah, it's cool.
This okay. Shield Wall Dragon says this movie has an old style silver lighting effect from the classic movies, but I think they used. Oh, I read that already. Oh, I meant to read. Shangri-La is also very 1930s, since so many places were being discovered due to technological advancements like aircraft and radio communications and infrastructure. Shangri-La was from Lost Horizons.
Yeah, that's a classic film.
With AI advancements, they will soon be able to seamlessly create a show with dead actors, and you will not really be able to tell it is AI.
Well,
Yeah,
you'll tell
definitely.
because there'll be dead actors in it. It'd be
You'll
easy
have to
tell
know.
for me.
Well, you'd have to know that they're no longer alive. I guess if you watch it, you don't know who they are. You don't know their birthday.
Hey, if they make a movie with
That's
Humphrey Bogart on a basketball team, I'll know it's AI. Sorry, Joe.
you're yes, but I'm more reading that sentence as you wouldn't be able to tell, as if not that you wouldn't know that Humphrey Bogart is dead, but that it looks like he's back alive.
Okay.
Shield Wall Dragon says the 1999 Mummy is a great movie.
Yes.
I like that movie, and I know some people hate it,
I
but I
agree.
think
You
it's a
know,
really fun movie.
I don't know why. I think it's fun too, and my favorite is going to Universal Studios. Not Universal Studios. The theme park, the Universal theme park. They have a really amazing mummy ride with fire.
Oh.
With
And
fire?
hello, it has fire in your face, but you don't get burned.
Which is
But
nice.
yes. Real Wade Nation Gaming says hello.
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 Or he actually says hi.
Hi. Penny.
Jill is headed to the grocery store, says Penny.
Grab me some fruit roll-ups.
Yeah, Penny's going shopping. The original King Kong movie was a pre-movie code production, and so it has some very revealing costumes for women. With romantic flowers on the pillows, kind of suspect.
Yes.
Take off your clothes. They're radioactive. Was my best line that got me through college. Says Herc 130.
Good to see you, Herc.
Hi, Herc.
So, is this the scene where Polly Perkins sells them her special scented candles?
Yes. Everyone got a free goop candle.
Be careful. Those are. Yeah, be careful with those. I hear they can catch on fire.
The candles?
Yeah, what I mean is isn't it just not that you can light the wick, but the whole thing just goes into blazes? Like it's not a good candle.
Well, I've only heard what they smell like. I've heard
Right.
the description, and that is an interesting scent to be wafting through your home. You get it hot, it gets wet, and then it smells like.
Yes. Gwyneth Paltrow's candle. It smells like her, and it reportedly exploded So what's important about it, it's caused an inferno in a woman's living room. And the candle owner had to throw out the $75 thing out of the front door.
$75 candles? Ouch.
Yeah,
Not yeah.
$75 to smell Gwyneth
Yeah,
Paltrow's
I don't think
nether
I'd
regions.
I don't think I'd want to smell that all day long in my home anyway, to be honest. Like, not really all day long.
No, it's not my favorite either.
Yeah.
No, I know. I prefer like cookies or vanilla.
Cinnamon's nice.
Sure.
You ever had cinnamon buns? Cinnamon buns smell good.
Where's Totenkopf now? Yeah, and all those candles will cost like $3 or $5. So
Yeah.
you can save some money.
Yeah, I'll just go probably to the dollar store and buy candles there. I think they probably have them. I'm not a big candle.
So they're hunting for Totenkopf still.
Ouch.
Maybe Goop's cookie smells like a cookie, but I will never know, says
Yes.
Tiger Stripes. Welcome, Tiger Stripes.
Hey, Tiger.
You Tiger.
And you were really.
Oh, you're muted, Scotty.
Yeah. Well, Scotty, I think Scotty was trying to say something, but he's muted.
He was mid-word, it sounded like, but maybe he had to cough or something, or got called away.
Maybe.
Maybe the phone's ringing or something.
That is possible. But I want to thank Admiral Terrier, Tiberius Mork, who sends us 20 NOK.
Would that be Norwegian krona or something? I'm just taking a wild guess there.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Oh, Scotty's lost his connection.
1 Norwegian krone. Yes, that is correct. That's what it is.
Oh, wow. I made a good guess. Yay.
Thank you so much for the 20 Norwegian krones. I prefer candles that smell like Brad's pit. And would you buy that for $75? Terry.
Oh boy, I ain't paying $75 for no candle.
Well, I guess Terrier demands it.
I demand it.
Oh, by the way, Jill, since Scotty has temporarily left us, hopefully he'll be back shortly. I quickly want to mention put a link for the Superman Fleischer Brothers cartoons in the private chat. There was 19 of them in total, and they're all on YouTube and very, very high remastered, high definition quality. You might want to check them out whenever you have.
Well, which one is your favorite out of all of them? Do you have a favorite episode that you want to talk about?
Yes, I posted separately the link to the mechanical monsters with the robots a little bit lower down in the private chat. You can probably
that is a particular episode with the robots. Not every episode of Superman has has robots.
Oh no, that's just the one cartoon. They're only like 9 minutes long, so it doesn't take long to go through the whole series, really. You know,
Very
you probably
nice.
do it in a couple hours, you know.
So Tristan Mendoza in the chat says, hello, everybody.
Hello.
As Dr. Nick. Hello, Dr. Nick. Listen. Hello, Dr. Nick. It's funny, but folks who collect candles are quite passionate about it. Or so I understand, says Tiger Stripes. I don't know. I haven't met anybody who collects candles. Admiral Terry says, regarding the screenshot, I always thought that was funny. Rana is the name of the city I grew up in.
Oh, Scotty in private chat says, sorry, Mike just messed up. Be back in a second.
I just read that. Yes, indeed, that is correct. So Scotty R37 is having some technical issues, but we're not going to worry about that. That is not a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
We have a main bus B undervolt.
Ship is on red alert.
I guess maybe it's a little bit of a problem.
Well, just for Scotty.
It is.
Kind of limits his input to the chat here, I would say, right, Jill?
Well, sure, but he will be back before you know it.
Oh, he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back. Yes. Can't keep a good Scotty down.
So I'm going to read this comment by the director of the film, the creator, director Conran. He says, "We tried to approach it almost as though we lived in that era, and we're just another group of artists trying to make a workout of these pieces and inspirations. We wanted the film to feel like a lost film of that era. If we're a footnote in the history of pulp art and golden age comics, that'd be enough. That'd be great. If we even just inspire some people to go back and investigate some of that stuff, we've done enough." And yeah, it definitely makes you think of things like that. Agreed. Tristan Mendoza says, "Those tall Mexican candles you can get at the grocery store make really nice tall drinking glasses when you finish with them and get the wax out of them in the sun." He has 6 or 8 of them all in all my stuff, which is mostly in boxes. Oh, you know what? I really love those candles because they remind me of my family. They would buy those a lot, but I never thought of drinking out of them. Great idea.
Yeah, as long as you get the wax out, I guess it'd be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not interested in drinking that.
That's a good idea, though. Put them out in the sun. I'm sure, that would heat them up safely, and it would probably would melt, and then you just pour it out and, probably get rid of most of it. I guess you'd have to scrub it with a cloth or something to really get the residue out, though, I would think, right?
Sure.
Anyway, I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. Sorry, Joe. Please continue.
You don't need to be sorry. What are you sorry about?
I just didn't want to interrupt any thought you might be, percolating there. You might have something to say about the film or whatnot.
Well, I'm working on it, but at the moment I have all these notes, but I was trying to figure out which one I like the best. Christian Mendoza said they are kind of Trekky and Star Wars barish. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Star Trek does have very unique glasswork.
What kind of glass I always wanted to get was like the one Deckard has in Blade Runner when he's, kind of in that funky mood and he's looking at the photos on the TV screen and he's got that like square glass. Remember that, Jill? That squarish glass that he's drinking out of? And I that's such a cool glass, but I don't think I've ever found one exactly like that.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. Keithy says, "Put some water at the bottom to capture the melting wax." Good idea.
Oh,
this isn't like Fiestaware that was made of uranium. Then your food gets nuked. Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, I remember some of that some of that dishware they had like back in the 30s did have uranium. It was a bit radioactive. I remember. Yeah.
So there are notes to this movie, but it's mostly about the animation style. They had 100 artists and they multi-layered 2 and 3D backgrounds. So yeah, so some of the backgrounds you think look like matte paintings are definitely just are digital also, but in that way, 2D.
They did a good job on it. Yeah. Wow, $3 super sticker. Hey, cool.
Yeah, thank you so much, Darius Munchausen, for the $3 super sticker of a pear, giving me a thumbs up. So that means he likes it. He really likes it. And what have you done with Scotty? I've done nothing with Scotty. His microphone has decided to not work. But hopefully something changes and he's okay. Lots of glass is still labeled as not to be used for food. Yes, this is true. Tiger stripes. I never thought of using a candle glass for drinking, and there may be a good reason not to. The grids. Oh, right, right. That is one thing I did love about this movie. When you're flying around in this movie and you look down and you see the map, like the actual map, and just seeing the world as a pilot, I guess, knowing where you are in the world, and just seeing the world as if it is the map. And so they did that with a blue screen stage floor to help the actors with that. And so that, I think that looks really nice. And he does some math right here, some pilot math, and to figure out where he is. And I enjoyed that, to figure out where the villain is. But also he does some math to figure out where he's going to lose all his fuel. So they're going to lose fuel before they actually get there, and they're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so this is where he calls his friend Frankie to help him out of this bind. Frank, but he says it's Frank Cook. Oh. I forgot you can let yourself in.
True.
Oh. Very busy. Can only lurk. Hello to Gorilla's
Hi, Gorilla.
Hey.
See you later for Walton, sir, Gorilla.
Oh, for sure. Several studies have demonstrated that merely serving food or drink in glassware containing lead oxide can cause lead to leach into the contents, even when the glassware has not been used for storage. And yes, right. Do not use glassware made of lead. I think that's a good idea. Booger414 says movie pilots always seem to run out of fuel over those darned maps. Yeah.
Well, and it's a great introduction of sort of the first instance of seeing a helicarrier on screen.
Yes. The Outcast creator says, "Hey Jill and PvP, saw Sky Captain at the cinema on a massive screen. Big fan of it. Would have joined you guys, but just out for my 80s clubbing night to cut some shapes to those Aha and Madonna. Whoa, enjoy your night clubbing." Wow. That sounds fun.
Sounds like an interesting club if they're playing Aha and Madonna still. That's all right. It's kind of like retro time. Yeah, cool.
Yes, that's why he mentioned that it's 80s clubbing night.
Yeah. Wow.
To go see the classics. I hope it's fun. And that's cool also that you got to see this movie at the cinema. And so did Scotty, R37.
This time was better.
This time was better. You enjoyed it more not seeing it in the theater.
Yes. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I have to change my entire outlook on cinema now, because I have been totally slagging on this flick for decades. With
and
no good
is that
reason.
what you thought was going to happen today? I didn't know why you wanted to watch this movie, but
there was a YouTuber who did sort of a review of it and talked about whether or not it was sort of maligned or overlooked, and if it deserved another pass through, just to appreciate it. And I was like, nope, Sky Captain and the Crap of Crap more. It was crap. And but I have it. It's on like a triple feature Angelina Jolie, so it's got both the first two Tomb Raiders and this. And I was like, well, okay, sure. So I watched this finally, and I'm looking forward to taking another pass on it, just to get the audio commentary. The DVD also includes the original 6-minute short, and I'm more intrigued with it now than I was at the time, and I think that might have been also the people that I went to go see it with, because I had a crush on a girl, and a group of us went to go see it, and she thought it was crap, and maybe that just rubbed off on me because I was trying to impress her.
That would make a lot of sense, actually, Scotty.
Yeah, ladies will always dictate my my tastes.
Well,
if,
you know,
to
when you
align.
have romantic interest for a lady, it's easy to kind of be persuaded as to her viewpoints, I guess. You know, it's kind of a natural thing us guys do tend to do we not at times?
Well, and sometimes we are just influenced by the people that we're around in general.
Well,
And
maybe your friends were a bunch of cretins too. You never know.
They
Because
were
I
all
didn't know.
lovely people.
Because this movie looks cool. I can't see how anybody could hate this movie. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I think you would have liked it, if I would have planned this earlier.
Yeah, I wish I could have watched it actually. Yeah.
Snorapoopa says, I thought the flying carriers and the manta fighters were super neato-rific. Neato-rific. I like that word.
Oh, that's a good word. Wow. That is a
Mm.
cool looking carrier there, though. It's pretty spacey. Like, that's very cool. Reminds me, I think there was a Japanese show that had carriers, flying carriers similar to this, but I can't place the title of the show.
And so I do have the clip for just a short clip. I wish I would have gotten more clips of this movie, but this will show you a bit of the magic of it.
You can't land this in the middle of nowhere.
I'm not. I'm landing it on land.
Music sounds good too.
The music is really rollicking. It's quite good.
Wow. Boy, yeah, now I really want to see this. Darn. Oh, I wish I could see it in the big theater screen, though. Gosh.
Hello, Kermit Frog. Buying a record and only keeping the cover. Trishan Mendoza says that ship looks like a bug skimming on top of the water. Oh, it does. Yeah, one of those
water bugs. You ever seen water bug? They used to be out. We used to rent a cabin in the summer, and there were water bugs in the lake that would swim around on the surface. Yeah.
And our running gag of only having 2 shots left. 2 photos. So strange to see Angelina Jolie have so little screen time and yet be like third build.
Probably because they couldn't afford any more screen time, Scotty, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
Or it could have been just a service of the story, but here we have our love triangle with Polly and Frankie.
I don't know. I've never really found Angelina Jolie that attractive. I don't know. I just don't get it. You know, like she's not bad looking, but I don't see where she's the beautiful creature that a lot of guys seem to think she is. I don't know.
I did.
It's all objective.
Yeah, subjective.
Yeah.
Subjective, not objective. It's not objective at all.
Like what? I like the blonde lady a lot more. The blonde lady's a lot cuter, I think. She's kind of like classic, 30s sexy girl, lady.
Well, it's a classic Betty or Veronica.
Yeah, I guess. Betty and Wilma.
Well, and that's part of the movie too, is that Sky Captain Joe has a romantic association with both of the ladies, both Frankie and Polly.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a little jealousy going on Polly's side.
I do enjoy the sort of globe helmets because it's the aquatic squadron. And we do get a jetpack in a few minutes with an ejection, and it's great. It's all that sort of Art Deco retro futurism from the 1930s that and then updated for modern audiences to make it look cooler.
Well,
this ain't
that's
the
so
Battle
cool
of Britain.
That's what's so cool about Frankie is that she can do that. She can just destroy her airplane and eject her seat, and she's totally fine.
I'm still kind of amazed that this film didn't do well because it looks incredible. Like I just, it's a mystery to me why this would bomb at the box office because it looks fantastic.
Well, what else came out in 2004?
Maybe it was another bigger movie on the same weekend, perhaps.
Let's see.
But this looks like a lot of fun. Like I really want to see this movie now.
There are certain things that end up just being sort of contrivances. Like we look for Dex throughout the film, and then at one point he just ends up showing up, and it's like, oh, hi, Captain.
Well, a lot of movies have that, though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if the movie's entertaining and fun, I generally don't hold a few little minor things like that against it. You know. Because man, girl and I watched on a Cringe Talk last night. We watched a movie that was so bad, so incredibly awful
What
that
movie?
Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh man!
Oh yeah, I after watching that last night, I finally realized that I have actually seen the worst movie of my life because that is the absolute worst movie I ever saw. It was horrifically bad. Oh my goodness, that movie sucks. Just ridiculously bad. Oh.
I think it's very interesting that that movie was made at all. And
Yeah, I
so
made that comment to Gorilla a couple of times when we were watching, and I said, just think some executives at 20th Century Fox looked at the script for this, knew what Tom Green, would probably do, and he greenlit the project. I'm like, I'm shocked. It's a horrible film. It's demented. It's demented,
Wow, I do enjoy Demented.
but not that kind of demented. That was just bad demented. Like it wasn't fun. It was painful to watch.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
The sad thing was it had some good actors in it, and they were completely wasted.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
boy.
there's a lot of stuff that came out in 2004. I'm trying to find
Really?
what was
Interesting.
yeah,
I
like iRobot, Alien vs.
Okay.
Predator. There was a Harry
Alright.
Potter in there.
Oh,
Anchorman.
that could take away some box office money if it was up against Harry Potter or something.
Kill Bill Volume 2.
I don't think of that year as a big movie year, but those are some pretty, significant films, I suppose.
And what came out this? Let's see. Because it came out on the 17th of September. Doesn't look like there was a lot of competition for it. But no, Resident Evil, Cellular, Wicker Park. Anyway, I'm just reading off the
I'm just
the
wondering,
year in
Scott,
film.
because coming out towards the end of September, maybe that was just bad timing. Because I mean, usually we think of the summer blockbusters starting say by June, sometime.
May. Yeah.
Well, even May, but you know what I mean, earlier, much earlier. So coming into the tail end of September, maybe a lot of people had already, spent all their movie money and seen a ton of movies before September rolled around, and maybe they were just burned out of all the summer blockbusters, and they just said, I'll pass on another movie, kind of thing. I'm just theorizing here, but that could be
Well,
part of it.
and it's the same sort of problem that that Hollywood has always had. People decry remakes and sequels and franchises and things like that, but with an untested sort of new property, without the word, the buzz to get around, and then with a simplistic plot that is just basically eye candy, there's not a lot of substance to it. It's still fun. I can't say that I didn't contribute to it, because I did. And so it just seems, if I go see a movie, more than likely it's going to bomb. No one else wants to see that movie. And then at the time, my word of mouth surrounding it was terrible. But again, I'm glad that it has aged well, or at least my opinion of it has warmed. FKHC 2005, in reference to the helicarrier, says, was it Robotech that you were thinking of, PvP?
Oh gosh, I can't remember, but no, I think it was something different. Actually, I'll just maybe take a search on the old interweb here and see if I can find anything.
Captain Infinity says, brother from another planet. He biffs the record. I don't think I've seen Brother from Another Planet. And Tristan says, I would watch Brother again. Saw it again 2 years ago. Well, hey, if it's a recommendation, maybe I should write it down. I do like Joe Morton. Or maybe I'm getting, I think that's what it is, Brother from Another Planet. I know. I should see it.
Yeah, that's another movie I haven't seen. Yeah.
And Tiger Stripes, in reference to not being able to afford Angelina Jolie, says, I don't think that's how it works. If someone's footage is left on the cutting room floor, that's one thing, but you pay for a performance, it's not by the minute. And that's why I'm surprised with such little screen time, her getting third billing. But it's like when what did I watch recently? Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, or the City of a Thousand Worlds. And Rutger Hauer is in the opening credits, and like his credit is like, and Rutger Hauer, and he has less than 30 seconds of screen time. So just to get butts in seats, especially considering the hot property that Angelina Jolie was back in 2005. Captain Infinity says, I haven't. I haven't seen Brother from Another Planet since it came out. Awesome movie. Well, then I will definitely. I'll seek it out. Captain Infinity says that Jolie equals Sweeney, but both are lesser than Dunst, and I agree. Are they lesser than Dunst? No, you say greater than Dunst. Either way. Tiger Stripe says, Kermit Frog, congratulations on your future unclehood. That's wonderful. I've starred your comment, Kermit Frog, just so that Jill will be able to check it out when she returns, because I know that she would love to celebrate with you as well. Tristan Mendoza says, oh, have you guys talked about Iron Sky and its sequels about Nazis coming back from the dark side of the moon? It's a great comedy, and Leibach did the soundtracks. I haven't seen the first one. I did see the second one. I do enjoy that. Is a demented movie as well, simply because they have a giant spaceship that is shaped like a swastika. It's fantastic. Pardon me. Tristan says, Cap, yeah, I remember that I remember it in theaters, but didn't see it then. Saw Toxic Avenger in theaters that year, though. That's another one. That's another one that I have not seen, the Toxic Avenger, and I know that I've just lost all of my geek cred. Tiger Stripe says, I refuse to see this with friends. I don't remember why. I might have been boycotting Angelina. It might have debuted during The Scandal. The Scandal, Tiger Stripes, you say? Is that like when she kissed her brother at the Academy Awards, or when she broke up Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt? I'm not sure. But I do enjoy myself a little bit of Angelina.
I just think I might have found what I was thinking of with the aircraft carrier thingy. I was just thinking back, and I've found some photos here. I can't seem to copy or paste any of them in the private chat, unfortunately, but it's from Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, the cloud base.
Oh yeah,
where they would land the planes. Remember, the Angels would land and take off, and it's like an aircraft carrier, very much. Kind of similar idea, not exactly the same configuration, but I think that's maybe where I might have been thinking of a flying aircraft carrier type of thing. So yeah.
Well, and apparently the helicarriers were designed by Jack Kirby in 1965, and this was
really, again,
sort of a cinematic precursor to the Avengers helicarriers. I was wondering if it was what is it? Spaceship Battleship Yamato or something
Yamato.
along
I was
those.
thinking of that too, but I just looked it up and I don't think there was anything similar from what I could see from the stills, but I might have missed something. I don't know. But yeah, that came to mind too, Scotty, actually.
Poopa says, I'm not a fan of Jolly Devilina, to be honest. I'm assuming that's Angelina Jolie. But that's, yeah, I understand how she can rub people the wrong way, but I've always been okay with her. I enjoyed her performance as Lara Croft. Tiger Stripe says to Tristan, yeah, I might have had problems with the Uncanny Valley too. That entire film was made in front of a green screen. Yeah. My biggest problem with things that were filmed in front of a green screen, because this obviously in 2004 would have come out after or around. Oh wait, no, yeah, 2099, 2002, 2005 is when Revenge of the Sith came out, and we all know George Lucas likes filming in front of a green screen. My biggest complaint about Attack of the Clones, and I know people have many, is when there's a scene where Natalie Portman is walking on sand, and they had to like CGI the footsteps, and I was like, can't you just get a sandbox? Is it that tough? But I digress.
Well, Lucas does seem to like to fiddle around with those kind of things now, doesn't he? I mean, like
Yeah.
the way he went back and redid a lot of the effects from the original films. Like a lot of us fans weren't actually too crazy about that idea. Just leave the original art alone. That's what I say. But that's George.
Yeah.
He seems to love to tinker with things.
Well, and that's that it seems like it was more like the prequel trilogy were more a technological proof of concept of digital filmmaking than it did in terms of depth of story. But it has those three movies, those prequel movies, they've found their audiences now. And I still have a little bit of a soft spot for them, just reminiscing about going to see them when they first came out.
Yeah, well, I think people compare them to what has followed recently too, and it's kind of hard not to think back to those films as being better than what is currently happening. So
Well,
I'm
and
not a huge Star Wars fan, but I can understand the misery poor Star Wars fans are going through with some of the current stuff coming out. It sounds
well,
pretty
and
awful.
that's I have heard the criticism that just because something new is bad doesn't elevate the old to being good. But when you do sort of compare and put things shoulder to shoulder, you're like, well, maybe I was a little too harsh on the other stuff just because.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, Scotty. I would say it doesn't elevate it to greatness, but it kind of makes it more palatable than what it maybe you originally thought it was the first time you saw it, kind of thing. You know.
Captain Notfinity is excited about the year 1984. Wow.
Well, yeah.
Good.
Interesting year.
Tristan says, Cap, it doesn't matter, but no, I think Brother was more like 82 or 83, and Toxie was 85 or 86. Just matching up the years. Tiger Stripe says, iRobot was hot garbage, so bad. I also did not appreciate that except for the performance of Alan Tudyk.
Will Smith, that
yes.
one? Yeah,
yes.
I've never been a fan of Will Smith. I don't know. I just can't get into what he does. I don't know. He just doesn't appeal. So yeah, I heard it was a pretty bad film.
Yeah, and it's one of those that sort of leans heavily on the special effects. Took the Asimov title in like just the title. It basically has nothing to do with the stories in the novella.
Yeah.
Cat's Infinity says, we really need a Brother from Another Planet 2. Electric Boogaloo. Oh, I don't even know if I can say this, Tristan, but Jill's not here, so I'm okay with it. Really funny is Destination Planet. I can't say it. I won't say it. Jill doesn't like it when I say things like that.
Yeah, Jill might get perturbed.
Yeah.
But that isn't the word. It's fine.
Well, I'm not going to tempt fate.
Hey,
I don't want to be
back.
ostracized.
It took a word to bring Jill back. There you go. It's like magic.
But why should I object to that term, sir? You see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
Yes. Thank you.
I think
Neota.
Scotty was just being careful, just being
Yes.
considerate.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your careful, your concern.
Tiptoeing through the minefield.
Because I do.
Yeah.
It's like it is very. That word is very close to the word that I don't want on my show, but it isn't actually that word. So I would not have gotten upset.
I'm just going to go put my kettle on since Jill's back, and you guys can chat. I'll be back in a minute.
Well, okay. Let me see where I am in the chat. What did you get up to?
Well, I did want to specifically say that Kermit Frog wanted to announce something to you.
I have happy news. I recently found out that I'm going to be an uncle for the first time around Christmas. Oh, congratulations, Kermit Frog. I'm sure you'll be a splendid uncle. And that'll be awesome.
And I did that.
You're going to be an uncle for Christmas. Okay. Okay, great.
Let me see.
What's brother about?
Brother from another planet?
Oh.
It's about a brother from another planet.
Neat.
And we did do this.
I didn't know the whole name. Okay, gotcha. It sounds like fun.
Oh, and
that's
there
wonderful.
We go. This is basically where we were. Tiger Stripe says, I got taken to see a brother from another planet. I don't remember much about it. I know the box cover. I know the VHS box cover, but I haven't seen the movie.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. And let's see. Robot was hot garbage.
Yes.
And it's okay if things are derailed, Tiger Stripes, because this is a shore leave. It is not. It does not. It's not a serious. Actually, it's not a bad review, but it's more chill.
Yeah.
A little less. Like I did not prepare for this.
Well, you made slides.
Even if it sounds like I did. I did. Yeah. That's right. I did prepare for this.
You made slides? You watched the movie? What else did you want to do? Did you want to put on
I don't know.
play?
Well, when I do tea time, I write basically an essay and I have like a point. But this one doesn't need an essay. It's just, some guy who thinks he knows better. and everybody's like, no, please stop stealing all of the power.
Did you mention the mini elephant?
Not yet. Oh, did I miss the mini elephant?
I think you might have missed the mini elephant.
I think I love the mini elephant. I kind of want a mini elephant. It's so small.
Oh, what is the age-old internet question? Would you rather fight duck-sized or 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Yes.
Tiger Stripe says, Aniston Pitt? I didn't follow that scandal that closely, but I know I was resolved not to see this movie. Still haven't. Well, it's fun. But it is fun.
Do I have to fight the duck-sized horses? Because that sounds like a really fun stable.
You don't have no. In fact, you can train them to be your army.
Yes, that is what I want. And then I just need, duck-sized knights.
Names.
Okay. For later, check out this that talks about how Disney made Mary Poppins without green screens. Yes.
That's interesting.
Well, based on when it was made, it makes sense. They didn't have green screens.
Yes.
Is Scotty talking about Jim from Huckleberry Finn again?
Almost.
No,
Almost.
He didn't. At least that word is not even allowed in my chat, and so it wouldn't be something that anybody would actually accidentally read if you're reading my chat. So it's safe to read the chats. In their century, they've learned not to fear words, but in our century, we fear pronouns. Yeah, Snort Lupus, you're not wrong. Scotty's Canadian. He doesn't understand how offensive that word is. Oh, okay. That explains everything.
I think you underestimate my powers. I know what words are offensive, and sometimes I use them to be halfway.
It's true. Take the effing pink elephant. All right, there we go. Thank you, Tristan. So we're
but also,
underwater.
someone was asking if you'd ever seen Iron Sky.
Iron Sky. I haven't seen Iron Sky, no.
Well, do you want to know what it's about?
I
Yes,
do.
what is Iron Sky about?
Iron Sky, at the end of World War II, the remaining forces of Germany, they retreated to the dark side of the moon to create a moon base and an attack fleet to come back and have their vengeance upon the planet Earth. And so, yeah, so it's space Nazis.
Mm.
Is this an anime or is this like
No,
a
it's a
real
live
film?
action. It's got Udo Kier
What?
in it. Yeah.
What year?
I want to say it's like 2006.
That's recent then. Okay, well, fairly recent then. Okay, I'd never heard of this. What's it called again?
Oh, it's 2012. It's called Iron Sky, and there is a
Iron
sequel.
Sky.
It's called Iron Sky: The Coming Race.
Wow. I'm making a note of that. That sounds kind of intriguing, actually, for a watch.
Germans set up a secret base on the moon in 1945 where they hide out. That is the IMDb synopsis.
Wow.
It's 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
I
It
see.
has to
I
be
see.
good.
So that's the origin.
Sounds watchable then, 5.9, I guess. Not that I'm a big believer in anything ratings posted on that website, but it sounds like it should be watchable anyway.
Oh, that's worth
She's
it.
some kind of girl.
Yes, I know. But then we have, this is an interesting sort of, I don't know. This is an interesting sort of observation that Polly has, and she thinks that Joe, our fearless sky captain, has named his plane after her, but only wants to see it upside down in the reflection to spell her name. It's very strange.
Oh, it's not strange. It's he wants to be covert about it. Like if she sees it, nobody. Yeah, like if everybody sees it, they don't know what it is, unless it's like a secret code of his secret love.
So he's keeping it
his past love, because like they broke up, so it's not like he can actually name it Polly. It'd be kind of weird.
He's keeping his feelings
So it's not
subtle.
weird.
He's keeping his feelings secretive then because it's personal.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
That's how I read it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you got a romantic interest in somebody, it's not like you want to go broadcasting it to the entire world, right? Especially
since it ended badly. It ended pretty badly because
that doesn't help.
She thinks he was cheating, and he thinks she sabotaged his plane, made him a prisoner of war.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I forgot about that, so I'm glad that came up.
Ooh, wow, yikes!
Oh yeah, giant monsters too.
Dinosaurs.
Cool.
Hello to Sentai Ranger Donnie.
Hey.
Hello.
More phenomenal.
Wow, this is elaborate.
It is. We're finally where the villain has set up a headquarters, and everything's automated. So all the robots are taking care of all the work, and collecting all of the life, because Earth is, the villain's decided he's God, and he's got to collect 2 of each animal, like the Ark.
Wow.
And restart life.
And these two are going to be on the Ark as well. These two, I'm guessing.
No,
they're trying to stop it.
Oh,
yeah, they're trying to stop.
And there you go. Dex just shows up and says, "Hurry up, get in." And it's like, "Where were you?" And that's also another thing, because there was this sort of buzz in regards to Olivier being in this, and he does end up being the ultimate villain. But as we discover, like, he's barely in it. So even our antagonist isn't really threatening. It's all just automated machinery that is the big bad. You never get like the Bond villain monologue at the end saying why they were going to do everything. It's
So
just, I gave up on humanity. That's
there's
it.
there's no Luke, I am your father moment, you're saying?
No.
Okay. The
No,
machines
that
are
would have
still cool.
required them to craft more sentences from his past works.
Or you could hire a living actor. That would have been easy.
Right? That would have been much easier.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
Peter O'Toole doing in 2004?
But you wonder, like, why would they not just get a living actor to play the big bad? Like, it's kind of silly that they didn't.
Well, and I think because it was basically a proof of concept from a YouTube video, essentially, or an online short film,
I
that
guess.
that any of the crazy stuff that they could put in was more of, oh, look what computers can do. And so, aside from that, it's not bad. Like for 2004 CGI, it doesn't look all that dodgy. It is.
This looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I love weird
I
robot stuff.
love practical effects and everything, but when CGI can be done well in a fun way, I think this achieves it. This movie is a beautiful warning about the future of Hollywood. It says Adam Gray. Hey, Adam.
Well, and in terms of the production, this was, again, with the exception of say Attack of the Clones, this is one of those forefront actors go into a giant green warehouse and act to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they figure it out.
Yeah,
got to give credit to any actor who can do that. Just basically deliver a great performance.
Especially earlier.
Nothing.
Especially earlier when they had the robots turning them upside down and everything. Having nothing to actually interact with, you have to use your imagination as an actor.
Well, exactly.
Burger414 says, sorry, I have been so quiet in the chat. Been listening while doing stuff. That's my favorite thing to do when I listen to a stream.
Yeah, that's okay, Booger.
And I actually had a phone call also. I stepped away for quite a while because there's business for tomorrow, the birthday party.
Pesky real life phone calls.
And hello, Daniel. Daniel, hi, Jill. Hi, Scotty and PvP. I remember this movie. It was a great movie. I want a sequel, says Daniel's Hot Topics.
Wow. Well, and again, this is sort of the reason that this didn't take off is because they had sort of a higher budget and they couldn't recoup it. They were willing to make it for cheaper, but the studio said, "Oh, okay, we'll just give you more money so you can do more stuff and get stars." But yeah, this is almost like a canary in the coal mine of what happens when you just have a giant budget for no real reason aside from showing off. Because you could tell this story with less money, as evidenced by the 6-minute short being made in his garage. And it's like, oh, that's not a movie. It's like when Kevin Smith made Clerks, and then afterwards they were like, do you want to make a real movie now? And he's like, I did make a movie. And they were like, for $30,000, that's not a movie. That's not a movie.
Yeah, there's something about there's something arrogant about the inflated budgets in Hollywood. I find these days, like, guys, the amount of money you're spending, the movies you're making are not that great. Like for the amount of money poured into them, because most of them are losing money and most of them bomb now. And Hollywood doesn't seem to get that, unfortunately. And I mean, I'm a fan of many movies that are made for a budget of less than $10 million, because there's a lot of great movies that were. I know I'm mainly talking about maybe a few decades back, but still, even with inflation, those movies cost a lot less than most of the stuff coming out of Hollywood nowadays.
Well, but also I think that there is a certain attack on quality film that is happening from certain corners of film punditry by assumed biases or political influences. Like I only have to think of Furiosa. Like Furiosa, until recently in Mad Max Fury Road, everyone was jumping for joy over Fury Road and Furiosa as being an acceptable, one of the okay strong female characters. And now, because people have to, they have to get their clicks, Everything
there's
sucks, and you don't have
there's
to see the movie. Well, let's just watch people crap on it. And I think that I think the biggest fans of Mad Max, of that series, actually hamstrung Furiosa because they were busy with their own message, their own sort of preaching. And it's a shame because it's essentially killed Mad Max now. So good
Well,
work, guys.
well,
I would like to believe that people who are giving it a poor review have actually watched it and do believe that there
silly
are problems
rabbit.
with it and are just expressing their honest opinion.
well, I
Welcome
think
to the internet.
Scotty's
That doesn't happen.
I think Scotty's got a valid point there. Definitely, there is probably an element of that going on. I'm sure. Um, but some people, like Critical Drinker, did a review of the film, and he said he actually enjoyed it. He said it was actually a pretty good action film. It's just, I guess, he had some things that, he pointed out some issues with it that might have kept the fan base, the original fan base, like myself, away from the film. Um, but I think some of the reviews have been balanced. But I'm not sure. Like, I think if it appealed to like I have no interest in it. Like, I didn't like Fury Road. I'll be honest. I found it very boring, and it wasn't just because that Max wasn't the central character. It was just I didn't find it a very interesting film because to me it was like a retread of the previous movies, and there was a lot of action, a lot of endless automobile vehicular chasing around, and I just got bored at a certain point, and I just don't really care for the film. And so I think, and the trouble is with Furiosa, it's a prequel of Fury Road, right? It's before Fury Road. It's
Yes.
about the character when she was a youngin and she got kidnapped and all that stuff, and it's like a 40-minute intro with all that stuff setting up her character, which I think is maybe not a good idea to do 40 minutes of exposition before you get to the main story. That probably hurt it. Because once again, I think, Scotty, word of mouth, the people that did see it might have gone and told their friends, "Oh, this is like 2.5 hours long, and they got this long intro section that goes for 40 minutes, and blah blah blah." And so I think that's part of the problem as to why the movie bombed as well, perhaps.
It's a
But yeah,
possibility.
I just found Fury Road boring, and I have no interest in seeing
And also, I
Furiosa.
think maybe they had bad marketing because I hear that the trailer is not good and not representative of how the movie actually looks.
Well, that's a possibility. I've not seen the trailer, to be honest, Joe. So
I was
just
blown
got to mute. I
away.
got a phone call coming in here.
I did enjoy it, but again,
And I
like,
think a lot of people did. I
Mhm.
see more positive and average reviews than trashing, and in my personal experience. But I guess maybe I'm not looking at the right places of people getting upset.
Well, it's
But
just it's,
I'd have to analyze each review and actually
Yeah.
watch the movie myself to tell you just how much of an effect that might be having.
fair enough. It's just there is I understand audiences being frustrated with certain Hollywood films and how they are sort of pressing political agendas or people are feeling attacked by them. And now there has just become sort of a cottage industry of saying, okay, this is led by a woman, and so therefore it's going to be, as Drinker says, the message, which
And
is
But
it
Drinker,
just scares people away.
I don't think,
I
I
don't
don't
want to
think
rip on anyone specifically, but
Drinker
I just
didn't
think that there
say.
is
I don't
that
think he said
passion.
anything about the message. Actually, to be fair to him, though, Scotty, I don't remember him saying anything like that in his review. It was quite balanced,
Not
and
that
overall, he liked the film. Like, he actually said, "This is actually a pretty good action movie." But it's just that it's like a Mad Max film without Max, and that's maybe the problem, and also the prequel thing, right?
Joker is a Batman movie without Batman.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I
it's
mean,
not really even
everyone
a
loves
Joker
it.
movie.
Yeah.
but there are a lot of fans that want to see Max. Let's face it, I like myself included. If Let's put it this way: if they actually got Mel Gibson back to do a Mad Max, like an older Max film, just to see what has happened to him over the last couple of decades, and they wrote a really interesting story as to what he's gone through, I would pay money to go watch that. I definitely would. Like,
I
I'd
was
be there.
happy to I
I'd
was
be there
happy to
for
see
sure.
the journey of Furiosa in the Mad Max world.
Yeah. see. I don't have an interest in it. I just don't, and it's not
That's
because
fair
she's a
enough.
woman. It's not because she's a woman. It's mainly because Max is not in the movie, and I want to see Mad
But I
Max in my
don't,
Mad Max movie.
and I that is fair. But in terms of movies that are out there that sort of spin off, there are spin off movies that have characters that
Oh,
weren't
for
the
sure.
stars, and I don't saying that this is a Mad Max movie without Mad Max. It's like there's tons of those kinds of movies. Like there's Speed 2 doesn't have Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, sequels.
Short Circuit 2 doesn't have Steve Guttenberg or Ali Sheedy.
You know,
Like
and
there
I
are,
think that this is going to be the problem when they continue the John Wick universe with John Wick,
yeah,
and without him. If they continue it without him, I think it might encounter the same issue.
Well, the thing is
agreed.
too, I think is too with Mel Gibson in the first three Max films, he left such an indelible mark on those movies, like such a huge stamp of his presence, his screen presence, and his personality, and just the way he portrayed the character. It's such a solid, all encompassing stamp on the character of Mad Max that I don't think you could bring, even if you brought in another male character to play Mad Max, and you featured Mad Max, as a male character in another film, even that I think would be, second rate for a lot of the fans because they'd be comparing him to Mel, right? That's what people do. They compare, things like that. So,
Well, but James
I
Bond.
get what you're saying, totally, Scotty. Don't think I don't,
Sure,
get what
sure.
you're saying. It's very, very valid. It's just I think it's not that cut and dried. It's more complex. Like there's a lot of layers of different aspects going on here, the way people are feeling about these films. So, it's really
Well,
it's hard to
and
say
it's
why it bombed. Like it sounds like not a bad film, but I just don't have an interest in it, because I didn't like Fury Road, and a prequel before Fury Road doesn't interest me. It's as simple as that for me.
and not to skip over a bunch of the chat, but I think Booger says we could make a lot of these, like a Lincoln film without Lincoln, maybe branch out to an Alien film without aliens. Did you see Prometheus? Prometheus didn't have any aliens except for the engineers.
At the end, didn't they
At
have
the yeah, they
at
had
the very
one.
end?
Yes.
Yeah, and Prometheus didn't get the best reviews, did it? From what
And
I've
so
read, it was pretty much a
I don't
hated
even
film.
remember it except for the C-section.
you
Oh,
love that C-section.
I don't. It's
I
just
bet
all
Jill
I
does
freaking
not.
remember.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of there's
I don't,
probably a reason for
it's
that, right, Jill?
because it was the only good scene.
Yeah. Jeez, when
Oh,
Jill's saying the C-section is the best scene, it's like, boy, I don't think I want to see that
Yeah,
movie.
do you like surgery?
Yeah. Well, I
Go
imagine that.
see 2 minutes of
Yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah. I can imagine why the female audience might not love that scene. Yeah.
No,
Yikes.
yeah, getting cut in half is not fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh,
So there's only before we head off into talking about everything else besides Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, there was only one more thing I had to add about this movie, which was when they finally find the villain and he's no longer alive. He has
spoiler.
this yeah, um he has this piece of paper that says forgive me. And so is that the indication that he couldn't stop what he'd done and he had a change of heart?
could
I
be.
don't think so. I think that it's more of forgive me because of what had to be done. It's like he doesn't necessarily like what is that old adage? People don't think that they're the villains in their story. Everyone thinks that they are the heroes. And even if you do have
Yes.
weight in terms of the consequences of your actions, again, like Dr. Totenkopf he saw humanity as being a failure and prone to self-destruction because of the events of the Great War. And I think that he does the arc, gets the vials of the perfect genetic people, so that they can be, I don't know, gestate in space or something. And
Yeah, right. What
doesn't
is the plan for that?
I don't know. I don't know. But he doesn't I don't think he wants to destroy humanity. I think he feels that he has to. And so when he says forgive me, I think it's just the burden of his responsibility weighing on him. Is my interpretation of it.
Well, also, how come this guy's never heard of genetic diversity?
Well, because he's German.
Oh, of course. Okay, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, he's a Yahtzee at heart.
Well, at heart, because apparently, according to Snarkpoopus Cuber, they don't exist in this universe of this movie. And that makes sense based on what we saw. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that interpretation of what the Forgive Me paper was, because the plot in this movie is so thin. And so I was grabbing onto any story beats I could, and there was the best one, I think, in terms of what happens at the end.
Yeah,
with saving all of the animals and getting all those resources back.
Yeah, from what you guys have said, I mean, of course, I haven't seen it, unfortunately, yet. But from what you guys have said, it sounds like the plot is thin enough where you should not maybe overthink too much of it and just have fun, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yes. But there are, emotional punctuations that sort of make it. I wouldn't say that it's trying to be more than it is, but it definitely is emulating that sort of empathetic villain sort of situation. Especially, why else would you have like Laurence Olivier? You want to have a recognizable actor and some reverence to it. And it is interesting just because at the end, when Sky Captain says we've been chasing a ghost, it's like Olivier had been dead for 15 years at the time of the making of the movie.
That's an ironic line, actually, isn't it, Scotty?
Yeah.
But I'm still mystified why Olivier, though. I mean, he's much revered and loved and respected by people of my generation because we grew up watching his films, and he was one of the great actors, of his generation, to be sure. But I wonder how many of the younger folks in the audience 20 years ago actually would have even had a clue that that was Laurence Olivier on the screen. I mean, I have doubts, that it would have really mattered to most people. So I'm still mystified why they decided to go with him and not just get some relatively, unknown guy and not paid him much because he was only in the film a short time anyway. So,
basically just stock footage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the creator of the movie wanted to own.
Sorry, Jill.
Oh, is it Jill's turn to have microphone issues? I know she had some trouble earlier in the week with the mic.
Oh, did I? Was I breaking up?
A little bit.
You disappeared for a minute there, or a moment, I should say.
How am I now?
You sound fine now.
Perfect. That's good to know.
But you said the filmmaker wanted.
I did like the idea that the filmmaker wanted to only use $3 million, and in that case, he would have had a cast of unknowns, and it would have been interesting to see who he would have brought into the limelight.
Yeah, I wish the studio. It's too bad the studio had to meddle with his vision, and make him go over budget basically so badly.
There's usually some kind of meddling. Even he mostly had free reign on most of the whole movie, except for I guess the casting.
But the budgetary thing did kind of kill it, right? Because if he'd had the small budget that he wanted initially, he could have maybe gotten a sequel, right? Because
spending $3 million and earning 30 million, that would have been amazing.
It would have been a box office hit instead of a flop, right? So it's unfortunate. Often when a studio meddles with the creative person's vision, it generally ends badly, it seems, from what I've observed, over the years.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to see where I am in the chat, and I got to do a little bit of scrolling to make sure I'm where I am, because this is the Shore Leave, so I want to talk about what you want to talk about. And Sentai Ranger Donnie says Space Cation is a good, fun movie, but it's totally up to you. You don't have to take my word for it. And okay, I don't know anything about Spacecation. Do
Never
you?
heard of it, actually. No, I've never heard of it, Joe.
All right.
Sounds like it might be a fun popcorn movie, though, by the title.
I can't find this. Is it actually called Big City Greens the movie Spacecation 2024? Oh my gosh. That is a long movie name. Oh, and it looks like a kids movie. But it's rated pretty highly on Disney.
I guess kids'
After
movies can be great at times, yeah.
after ruining his family's vacation before it can even begin, Cricket attempts to right his wrongs by volunteering his family for an experimental farming mission in space.
Oh boy. That sounds interesting, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a plot. It's got actors. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't. But if you
It
want,
always
if you,
helps.
but Sentai Ranger Johnny says it's good.
You know, movies that have actors and plots generally do better, don't they, Jill?
Typically. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, are we just about finished with the captain here?
Oh, we're already finished. We're already finished with it. We're
You know,
all
I
done.
just want to
Unless
congratulate.
you have anything else you want to add to it.
No,
It
since
wasn't
I've not
supposed to
seen.
take up. It wasn't
Since
supposed
I,
to take up the entire. Stream.
yeah, I was just going to comment my last comment about the movie. I just wanted to commend you on your brief review that only lasted a little over 2 hours, more time than the actual film itself. So that's really good, Jill.
I did my best to get through it briskly.
I just had to
But
mention
what
how your
happens
brief
is
review was
that
not brief.
what
Sorry, I should have
happens
brought
is
it up.
that we end up having lots of fun side conversations, and
Oh yeah,
that's the whole point of Shore Leave is to be able to
tangent.
take things easy and
Yeah,
yeah, the
off on the
tangents.
tangent.
I let the tangents run away,
Yep.
and that's what happened.
Yeah, if I get a horse,
So
I'm gonna
if
call
I
him
were to
Tangent.
if I were to edit everything that's actually relevant to Sky Captain from our 2 hours, it would probably only be an hour. I probably did achieve the hour that I wanted, but editing would be required.
Oh well, we had fun. That's the main thing.
Right, that's the whole point. Now it's a short leave. Anything you want. Let's go back to the regular
Oh
brand.
gosh, I don't even know where to begin. What the heck to talk about? Gosh.
Well, but first, I'm going to bring back my starship and my starfield.
You don't like the
we're back in
robots?
space.
Actually, Jill.
Oh,
Could
okay.
we-
I can bring back the robots. Oh gosh.
Could you
There, see?
could we cover a little bit of
welcome.
Fleischer Brothers Superman cartoons just briefly, if possible?
Well, you can talk about them if you like to, but I also
Yeah.
want to read the chat.
Okay.
Oh, Daniel thinks Gwyneth Paltrow is so hot in Sky Captain.
Yes.
Yes,
I agree with you, Daniel.
she is. Adam Gray says, I love this film, specifically because of the art direction, but it is very cold and still due to the green screen process.
I think Jude Law is really charming in this movie, and I'm not a huge Jude Law fan, but I do like the chemistry between him and Gwyneth.
I do too. I think they have a great. They bicker as if they're actually together, but it's a lot of fun.
It does make a big difference when the actors have a chemistry playing a somewhat romantic interest. Because I mean, if they don't have a chemistry, it's painfully obvious in some movies, right?
I think
So.
they have an interesting friendship. I'm not sure that they have strong romantic chemistry. It doesn't
But you
feel
know what I
hot.
mean? There's a connection the characters have, so that if the actors feel a little bit of connection when they're acting the roles,
Yes.
that helps, right?
Yes, they definitely do.
But Jude Law, he's one of those actors I could some of his stuff I like, and some of I can take him or leave him kind of actor, But he's a good actor, I think, generally.
Daniel's Hot Topics never saw any of the Mad Max movies.
Wow.
All he saw was a bit of the first movie on Gorilla's stream, and I think I saw a bit of the third movie. In my opinion, if you want to save the series, bring back and then Mel Gibson.
Well,
I
and
would love
and
to see one more with Mel. I really would. I think if they wrapped up the character, made him in his older years, and just had a bit. I mean, maybe there could be even some tie into the Furiosa stuff. I mean, I don't know. They probably couldn't do that, but I mean, it would be interesting to see what his journey had been since the third film ended. And yeah, I would definitely want to see that movie.
and I get that, and it's always something when you end up recasting. I thought Tom Hardy was a great Max, and I also think
Well,
that
yeah.
it's the same sort of conversation that revolves around the early days of Bond when it went from Connery to Lazenby, and that was a failure. So they bring back Connery, and then we go to Roger Moore, and then you find out that the world of James Bond isn't reliant on one actor.
Well,
It's
yeah.
the character itself can be recast,
Oh
but
yeah.
like I wouldn't be against having Mac or having Mel come back as Max, but I don't think that the entire franchise rests upon his shoulders.
No, but I think if you want to get some interest back, I think that would do it. I think that would definitely generate some buzz, Scotty. And I didn't mind Tom Hardy as Max. The trouble was he didn't do much in the film. He was basically like the secondary character at most in Fury Road. So that was my problem with it. I didn't care that they recast the character. That didn't bother me at all, actually.
But
Um,
it, and it,
but it's
it
like the Bond films, though, right, Scotty? Like, I don't mind the different actors that have appeared in the 25 or whatever Bond films we've had over the decades. It's more, to me, it's more about how good is the story, how good is the writing. The actor is kind of almost secondary when it comes to a series like Bond. Anyway, please continue with your thought there, Scotty.
well, and I do understand when people say it's like it says Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and people have been saying, well, why did you put Mad Max in the title of the movie if Mad Max isn't in the movie? And I think a Mad Max saga is better than having an opening crawl, better than having exposition try and tell you what this world takes place in. It's a marketing tactic to say this is part of this franchise without having to be bogged down for 15 minutes or 10 minutes trying to tell us why the world is the way the world is,
But
when you can just say this is Mad Max world, and it's like, okay, I got it, so we don't have to worry about that.
the thing is, though, they could have done that because they had that 40-minute preamble where their character, introducing her character and developing her
But
story for like the first 40 minutes. That was all exposition from what I've heard. So they
no,
could have
that's her
mentioned Max.
story.
Yeah, but they could have mentioned that a connection with Max. It could have taken maybe a minute to do so in the introductory scene, right? That went on for like 40 minutes. I think it was
But
more marketing. I think the reason they put Max in the title was pure marketing.
I
That's
think it's
my opinion.
marketing and I think it's shorthand, but also when referring to the first 40 minutes introducing the character, it's not introducing, like they introduce her character in the opening scene, and it is her story of growing up. It's not a preamble, it is her story.
Well, I've heard that's the one part of that kind of sinks the film, but anyway.
Well,
Well,
I would,
like Adam Gray says, it's literally called Furiosa. If you thought Mad Max was going to be in it after watching the trailer, you may need professional help.
I'm with Adam on that one too. Also, it does remind me of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and everybody loves Thunderdome, but when
I
we
don't.
get beyond Thunderdome, no, I mean the actual scene, like when they're in Bartertown and they have the fight in Thunderdome. That's in the
It's
first
good, I guess.
act, and the movie is called Beyond Thunderdome, and it's like, oh, everything in Bartertown and Thunderdome is good, and it's like the title of the movie itself is saying we are going to be moving beyond Thunderdome. And then people are like, "Oh, but I don't like it after Thunderdome," and it's like it's in the title. So it bothers me when it's like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be about Thunderdome," and it's like the title of the movie says it. Everything is all the important stuff happens beyond Thunderdome.
I just wish George Miller would get off of Mad Max entirely because he's been doing Mad Max for like decades now. Cranking out. I mean, George Miller. No, but I mean, come on, George. You're a creative guy. Make something different. Make another story. Like
This
You've
I
done like
disagree.
you've done 5 Max films now. Like 5 is enough. Like let's get on to something different. Like people are getting. I think another thing is people are just getting bored and tired of seeing Max movies. What
Not me.
since what 1979 or whatever the first one was? Like,
Yes.
come on, George. You're a good creative director. You must have another story in you somewhere. That's another thing that kind of bugs me. I got to be honest, Scotty.
Well, and having an auteur, like a visionary filmmaker, staying in the world in which he created and giving us more installments into that world, I don't think is a matter of boredom. And again, I
Well,
think
for
it
me,
is
it is.
yeah, for you, but like, and that's
And
something
a
like
lot of other
I
people, apparently.
celebrate. Well, no, and that's fine. That's hey, I'm happy. Box office does not necessarily denote quality. It certainly ensures being able to see more of those stories in the future. And if there are no more Mad Max movies, I'm happy with the 5 that we had. But I celebrate the entire saga. I played
Oh,
the
that's
video
great.
games. I love Max,
Yeah,
and
I get it.
so I think it's people's expectations of either being disappointed by the lack of Max, which I get. I didn't have that disappointment because I wanted to see more of the world. And I think that also there is a preconceived notion of fighting back against Hollywood, even when there's nothing to fight. And it's, as one YouTube creator called it, it's like if you are fighting the woke, then collateral damage is acceptable, even if that collateral damage is a really good movie. And that's where I get frustrated in if
But
you're
I
going
thought
to.
that this movie wasn't even woke, so that argument doesn't even make any sense.
But it doesn't have to make any sense because, like, it's when people said that X-Men 97 was going to be bad from the onset, and then it came out and it was okay for X-Men fans. I'm not an X-Men fan, but X-Men fans were like, yeah, but your anti-message YouTube pundits who are certain that things are going to be bad because that reinforces their argument, that undermines the audience and sort of takes the wind out of the sails of word of mouth. And so
I
their
think if you
cottage
are that
industry.
kind of pundit, it's important to be honest about when that actual message is there and when it's not. And if you're not, people are going to find out pretty easily that you're just,
Well,
making stuff up.
no, there are plenty of greed preachers who have been getting away with preaching their greed and hate clicks for a long time, and they
Yeah,
have the audience captured.
yeah,
And
but
so, as long as you're
usually
angry at like
I don't
what
I don't agree with that particular moniker of what you're
I know,
calling commentators on social, on movies and everything, the
sure.
social politics that's being injected into movies, but the ones that I listen to very specifically say when this particular property is not woke, and they're very honest about when it exists and when it doesn't.
Well, and to be
Hmm.
completely transparent and fair about it, Mad Max has never been like a huge moneymaker. Like the first one made bank because it didn't cost a lot to make, but it's diminishing returns for Mad Max 2, Thunderdome. I think that like Fury Road basically broke even. So like it isn't necessarily like we lost this great franchise. It was always a niche franchise that was for a
Yeah,
specific
exactly.
audience. Yeah.
And it did really well with a lower budget, much like what was going on with this movie that we watched today, which would have been better if it was made. I mean, it would have made money if it was made for the 3 million that they wanted, and the
Mhm.
the Mad Max movies were low budget too at first, and it succeeded because of that,
Well,
or
yeah,
at least
I'm just looking at Road Warrior.
helped.
That's my favorite of the franchise. The second film, it only had an Australian dollars, 4.5 million Australian dollars, and in U.S. dollars at the box office, it made 36 million. So it was a hit. I mean, it was a
Well,
hit.
but in not in comparison to the original Max, because the original Max made like 100 million on a 250 $500,000 budget.
Mad Max 1?
Yeah. And so, but and
Jeez,
that
that's
was
hard to believe.
huge. And then this, well, and it was like the definition of a cult classic. And same, I think, what was it? Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. was like the 51st most profitable movie of 1984 or 82. And so like it didn't even crack the top 50 in terms of success, kind of making it sort of a sleeper hit or a cult classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did have 100 million in the box office. Wow, I'm surprised. I mean, I liked the first film, but I didn't think it was that fabulous. Like, gosh. It's
Well,
a
they
good
all did
movie.
really well until now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that does. I just think the audience maybe is just getting burned out. They just are getting. I mean, because let's face it. I mean, every Mad Max film, more or less, well, most of them have had a car chase, like an extensive, road chase sequences, and I think people are getting bored with that because I just, man, when I
There are
watched,
10 Fast and the Furious movies.
yeah, well, I don't think the Fast and Furious fans
I've
maybe
s-
are that particular about what they watch. I'll put it that.
I've
I'll be
seen
polite.
2 of them.
I'll be polite.
I think I saw the first one and then I was just like, I don't need to see more.
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's probably probably it's just for the hardcore fans after this first, first couple.
But
Well,
and it
I saw the
sorry.
second one, and when it was the same as the first one, I was like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah, and
But it's
that's my
also
point. That's my point with Fury Road. For me, it was like I'm done now because this is more of the same, and I was just
but if
bored out
you
of my mind.
But if you look at the and again in terms of franchise fatigue, I could buy it, but then how many Marvel movies do we have? How many people are enjoying dancing up and
Uh,
down on the grave of the acolyte because Star Wars like and it apparently
I'm
was the biggest opening for Disney Plus, like in terms of their
I'm
show.
I'm not even familiar with the Marvel films because I've never watched most of them because I have zero interest in them. So
Well,
you
and
know,
I would say keep an eye for see what Deadpool and Wolverine does in
that's the
terms
one
of
exception. That's the one
people.
exception.
No, I think it's going to be a sticker book. I think it's going to be something that they just toss out, feed to the monkeys so that they can all dance and say, "Ooh, look at that." But it's basically just it's a coloring book to say with jangly keys, just to say,
Well,
"Look at
Wait,
this
how do
reference.
you
Look at
know
this
oh, now,
for a
reference."
now,
fact?
now, now, who's given the negative review before they've even seen it now, Scotty?
This
Oh,
is
me.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
This
I
is
taking
didn't
your
say I
argument
was
on your
free of
head.
hypocrisy.
Yeah. No, I'm going to
you're
go see
listen
the movie. I'm looking
I'm
forward
not.
to it highly because I love the first two Deadpools. I never got to see them in the theater because I missed them. I wasn't aware of them at that time. But I'm definitely going to go see the third one, and even if it's mediocre, I'm still going to see it. I'm going to go and watch it because I love the action scenes in the first two films, and I want to see the big screen because I'm sure they're going to throw some of that into the third movie. I'm pretty sure.
I do too, PvP, but what you were listening to was Scotty R37's edition of Haven't Seen It, Don't Like It.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
He's always wanted
So
to make that into a show, and
yeah.
that is his favorite one right now to
Well,
repeat.
that'd be a show
Like
I'd probably
how
cast.
to know something's going to be a baby coloring book just because Disney has it or whatever. I don't know. What reasoning he has
Well,
to think that.
if Ryan Reynolds wasn't involved with the project, I might tend to almost completely agree. But since Ryan Reynolds has a pretty good track record of, I think he's the kind of guy that's going to fight for his project to keep it as good as he can. And I believe it is getting an R rating, is it not? From what I've heard, so
That's
that
right, and
yeah.
and you're absolutely correct about that. Ryan Reynolds cares very much about the character that he's created around the film version of Deadpool, and
Yeah,
I think that he's going to keep
he
things
seems like a
the way he wants.
honest, down to earth kind of guy from everything I've ever, read and heard his interviews. And I just think he's the kind of guy that's going to stick to his guns. And I'm really hoping that we get a good movie finally.
Like
No
Free
matter
Guy
what, I know he wants to be entertaining.
or R.I.P.D.
Free Guy is awesome.
Yeah,
I like
it's all
Free
right.
Guy. Really,
I
you
just
saw it?
you
didn't like it that
yes,
much?
no, it was fine. It was whatever.
I thought it was
I
fun.
didn't. Well, it was fine. Like I'm not saying it was.
No, not
Again, I don't
fine. I
want to.
thought it was fun.
Yeah, well, fun is fine. And like I don't know. I'm just sort of applying the franchise fatigue to Deadpool, and that's how
Oh, I
I'm
haven't got
sort of-
fatigue for at all. I mean, I've rewatched
do. I'm
I've
bored by
rewatched the
that.
Deadpool movies probably 3 or 4 times now, and I enjoy them every time I watch them because they're great movies.
I like the
I'm
first
glad
one.
you enjoy them.
The second one is missing some story. It's not a very compelling story, but it's still funny.
I like Cable's time travel trying to save his family, though. I found that pretty compelling, Joe.
Really?
I mean, he's a family man
That
and
didn't
kind of
thrill
a
me too much.
superhero. And I thought
I feel the
Brolin's
same.
portrayal was great. Brolin was great in Deadpool too, I thought. Because the guy's not young, but man, he must work out because he still had the physique to pull the character off really well, right?
I enjoyed the first one. I didn't care for the second one, but it's
I
at
like
that
the
point
action
now
in the
where
second one.
I find Fury Road or Furiosa to be far superior to anything Marvel has made in at least a couple years, at least since
as I say,
Endgame.
I have zero interest in most of the Marvel stuff because
so then maybe just be
tired of
happy that
superheroes.
at least you got a good movie, even if you don't get any more from this franchise. At least something was good.
I kind of treat the new superhero movies like Coconut. I don't like it. I know other people like Coconut. More Coconut for you. I don't need it. Thank you. Passing on.
That's the way I feel too about the movies I mentioned. So yeah, I guess we agree on that level.
Yeah, it's just different bases.
Different taste in what we like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If 5 movies is too many, Star Trek outslayed its welcome back in the 1980s.
Well, perhaps
yes, they should have stopped with the whales.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love all 6 Star Trek original series movies, and then the 4 TNG movies are okay.
Well, I was specifically talking about the Mad Max franchise. I was not talking about the Star Trek franchise, so I did not generalize. So that comment is kind of irrelevant, I think.
What? It's Shore
I
Leave.
specifically talked about the Mad Max franchise.
It's Shore Leave. All the comments are relevant.
Okay, yes. But I mean, I wasn't generalizing like that. I just want to make that clear. Because I think the 6 Star Trek films are great. Even 5, I think, is a decent watchable film. Now, Next Generation movies, that's a whole different topic. That one.
That is well. And speaking of that, I do need to mention in July we're going to review. I don't know what Friday I'm going to pick yet, but we need to review Insurrection in July.
Finally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That makes my head.
Thunderdome was really Road Warrior. Tina Turner.
I would love to see Anti-Entity.
I know some people have a problem with Tina Turner in the 3rd movie, but I thought she was fun.
I thought she was good.
Yeah, I liked her. Back in her heyday, I mean, Tina was at the top of her game back then, really.
Adam Gray says Furiosa came out 5 years too late. It probably would have broken even before audiences got burned out on sequels and CG.
Well, that's another thing. I've heard there's a lot more CGI in Furiosa, unfortunately, because I do prefer the practical, real car stunts that George Miller is so great at directing. Because, I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can do, vehicular chase action scenes more than George. Like, George is a master of that kind of stuff.
And the CGI is mostly, there are a couple of noticeable ones, but it never took me out of the film.
That's good.
Jim Dowell. Great to see you, Jim Dowell. Jim Dowell. Hi, Jim. I'm tired of the continued feminization of predominantly male IPs. Furiosa is the system giving us what they think we should want instead of what we actually want.
Disagree.
And
but
so
interesting.
That was kind of my point about Mel Gibson. I think if you put Mel Gibson back in one, I think it would make more money. But that's just my opinion.
And that is an opinion. That is in the chat.
Like
Oh,
And
yeah, hopefully.
It's
Yeah.
but it's kind of like we're Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. It's like nobody asked for Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. Someone created it and presented it to the world, and it didn't set it on fire or anything. But no one asks for the movies that they get unless they vote with their wallet to get a sequel to something and make it into an established IP. But yeah, I think Furiosa is a great backstory. Not as good as Fury Road, but Furiosa, I think, is an engaging story of how someone grows up in a new post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Captain Nutfinity says, "Dear George Miller, I wish you had made 11 Mad Max movies by now."
Yeah. Too bad he
They
had to
should-
stop. He Babe 2.
Babe 2, A Pig in the City?
Yes, he directed that.
Nice. Trishan Mendoza said they should do a Road Warrior film where someone pulls at the stand and has a nuke that accidentally gets exploded, and there, end of the franchise. Not like South King God influence. I don't
So
know what
George
S
Miller,
King's God.
Stephen King's God.
Oh, Stephen King's. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Makes more sense.
So George Miller directed Babe 2?
Yes.
I was not aware of that. Now, that's a movie I probably might consider paying money for. If they put Babe into a Road Warrior scenario, that would be fun. I would, if they could CGI that well with Babe in the movie, I think I'd go to the theater for that one.
How long would a pig last in the post-apocalyptic
He's a tough
future?
pig.
I
He's
just
a
don't.
post-apocalyptic porker.
I think that bacon will be eaten really quickly.
No, but what is it? Post-apocalyptic piggy.
That's
what
right.
We'll call the,
That's right.
Yeah.
And he's got, he's decked out with the Road Warrior type armor, and he's got the whole 9 yards, the gloves, and the whole thing. Like, come on, that could be great.
Maybe have a sidekick Spider. We can do a Charlotte's Web franchise crossover.
Sure. Why not? Just spitballing ideas here, Scotty.
Oh, I'm down.
That would be fun, actually. I actually kind of, that's one thing I miss is the creativity. Because I remember like growing up in the 60s, and man, we had so much weird stuff like TV shows, movies, a lot of like crazy stuff that was like way out there sometimes. And, the producers of this stuff weren't afraid to go out on a limb and do something really experimental or something outright strange. And now it's all so safe and so conservative and so, you know, paint by the numbers kind of movies. It's like, man, I miss the days when there was experimentation and real creativity, happening all over the place at one time.
Yeah, I'd like to see more films in the theater take more risks and give us brand new things.
It's new. Yes, please, something new. Yes, key word there, Jill. New.
Although
yes.
I guess sometimes it doesn't work though, because I think they tried to do something new with Argyle and that was terrible. From what I heard, I haven't seen it, but most people kind of.
I haven't heard of it. Yeah.
So.
Well, and then there's
some people
the
are
other
trying things.
Henry Cavill movie, the Guy Ritchie flick that just came out, the League of Undistinguished Warfare or something like that. Like that's sort of a new take, and I don't know. Like these are that's where my frustration. I know someone said it. And as you mentioned, Jill, in terms of the latest edition of Haven't Seen It, Don't Like It, which trademark me. But it's like when people say constantly, I want new. And then it's like, ooh, Deadpool 3 is coming out. Yippee. And it's like, you just said you wanted something new.
Well, it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And I understand that there are movies that are like comfort.
You can love old stuff and you can love sequels and you can still love new stuff as well.
Sure, absolutely. But that's also my film tastes recently are more of going back and seeking out things that were original from the past. And I know that there's new stuff that's coming out now. I don't subscribe to many streaming services, so I don't really check that out.
I have none.
Even with the new Seinfeld movie, the Unfrosted, about the Pop-Tart, and people were getting like unnecessarily angry at something that is just a silly nothing comedy. It is new.
There's
It's
a
got star
Seinfeld
power
movie?
behind. Yeah.
I
And
didn't
people
even
were
hear
just
about
like,
it.
this is product placement because it's a Pop-Tart movie. And it's like, and it's like, you guys are getting angry at everything for no reason when there is something that's new that comes out. Now, it may not be the most groundbreaking thing
See,
in the
I haven't even
world.
heard about it.
Well, have you seen it yet?
Not yet. Did you put it
I
on
haven't even
No.
heard of it. Is this in
It's
theaters?
there.
Okay,
Or
good.
where is this? Is this in theaters or
Netflix.
something?
It's on Netflix. It's on
Oh well,
Netflix.
I won't see it then because I don't have Netflix.
Hmm.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
maybe
know if it's
see
a
it
giant
eventually.
commercial. I haven't seen it yet.
Neither have I, but
Like movie,
it's got John
like
Hamm.
like
Well,
all of the Lego movies are all Lego commercials, but they're really fun and really good stories, and I enjoyed them.
so is
So,
Jerry
so if it's a giant commercial, it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing.
Seinfeld connected with the project then?
He directed it. Wrote
Oh
and
well,
directed it.
knowing Seinfeld's ironic sense of humor, I could see him doing a product placement film and making it really hilarious. Actually, if it's done well, it could be a good movie.
I'm curious to see. I don't know. I've heard people review it just as a face value comedy and say that
Uh-huh.
it kind of falls flat. But then
Huh.
again, I enjoyed B Movie, no matter
He
how
could
weird that movie is too.
he could be satirizing product placement big time though, knowing Seinfeld, right, Scotty?
Could
So
be.
I think it could be worth some laughs. Actually, it sounds
I don't know.
intriguing.
I saw bits of it, like not the whole movie, but just scene after scene. I'm like, what the hell is this movie about? I guess I don't know at this point. Trick 130 says he actually directed Babe 3, Electric Boogaloo. It was a big hit in Japan. Thanks, Trick 130.
Much like my first album.
George Miller, known for Mad Max, Babe, and Happy Feet.
True. Also directed
Oh, yeah.
Lorenzo's Oil as well. Very diverse career.
Lorenzo's Oil, really?
And that's one of the, that's also, maybe that's why I'm sort of planting my flag and saying I want people to check out Furiosa, is that I want to reward George Miller just for having that career and being an auteur filmmaker with a vision and a voice.
So, what is there a Road Warrior timeline? What happened to Max and to everyone?
Oh, what was George Miller was doing an interview recently, and they said, so what exactly does this take place? And he's like, 50 years from next Wednesday. And it's always been like, in a few years from now is how Mad Max, the first one, starts. It's always been sort of an indiscernible timeline, although I think that when he was sort of talking about Furiosa takes place shortly after Thunderdome, and then obviously 20 years or 15 years before Fury Road.
Well, there you go, Tristan. Thank you. Scotty. Burger414 says, these days, you don't have to ask. All movies are made with an eye toward becoming a franchise. Everything gets a sequel, sometimes even a prequel. Yeah, and what really bothers me is when they're guaranteeing sequels just for the purpose of completing the story that they didn't finish in the first movie. So they're going to have like a series of cliffhangers, but not actually have a complete beginning and end story within each movie. And so now a lot of these franchises are also just, now it's just watching TV, but now you have to wait several months between the episodes. So, but I guess if that's your thing, that's what people are doing now sometimes.
Well, but that's always been happening. Like, remember at the end of Masters of the Universe, and Skeletor comes back and he pops his head out of the water and says, "I'll be back." No, you won't. And then there's even.
But did that movie have a beginning, middle, and end of its own, and just tease it? Yeah, so it was episodic still, so it was still a complete movie. And then the cliffhanger is just like, oh, look, the villain is still here and he's going to do something, or Or it's a
Right.
horror movie and you think you defeated the horror villain and then it pops up and it's like, nope, I'm still here. So
Well, and
that's
even
different.
yes.
That's fine.
Well, that's yeah. Instead of having those sort of episodic serialized films, which is frustrating, but
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
terms
no,
of
and I don't mind cliffhangers. They just need to be done well.
well, and in terms of franchises, ever since well, I don't know when they began, but there was a movie called Williams' The Adventure Begins, implying that there would be another one, or the end of
Right.
Buckaroo Banzai, saying Buckaroo
Yeah.
Banzai versus the World Crime League. Never
Oh, if
happened.
you didn't mention it, I would have.
Nice.
That's definitely the sequel we deserved. And if you want to, I think they put out the book so you could read it now.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. I have to write that down. I forgot about the Buckaroo Banzai World Crime League novel.
So it is out just in book form.
Yes, in POG form.
Let's see. Mad Babe, the crossover. You never knew.
Yeah, see?
Okay, it sounds like there's an audience for this.
Let's do it. Let's get that pig on a car.
I mean, hey, who doesn't want to see a pig kick some ass? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, that sounds like
yeah.
And they're gonna have the duck. They're gonna have the duck who wants to be a rooster.
And there was a Happy Feet somebody mentioned, so that's the one with the penguins, right? So
yes,
you could have, Pig Max's sidekick, a penguin with a flamethrower. Like, think how cool that would be.
That'd be pretty rad. I'd be down.
Oh boy, I should
Well,
be actually
anything
coming
to
up with
see
movie
James
ideas.
Cromwell do stuff again.
Yes.
Is Cromwell still acting? I guess he is. Haven't heard anything lately that he's done, but
I'll take a look.
Jim's Landscape LLC says my Repair series is a true story, and Repair 4 is out. Ooh, true stories are usually really good. It sucks a lot of stuff from the 60s. Isn't recoverable. Oh, he's talking about the Doctor Who film footage
and
that was destroyed.
Also, season 1 of the Avengers. I think there's only 3 or 4 episodes that actually exist. Actually, I think 3 complete ones out of like 20 something, 25 or whatever.
You know what? Tristan mentions that too. There are seasons you can't find because nobody has copies.
Just season 1. Season 2 onwards, they're all complete. Just the first season, sadly. The BBC had a lovely habit of erasing the videotapes back in those days.
Yeah, well, I guess they wanted more room. They couldn't just buy more tapes.
I don't get it. Maybe they were very expensive back in the 1961, possibly.
Yeah, and we had to lose cool stuff like Doctor Who and Avengers, but nobody thought to erase the master copies for Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, really. I wish they would.
Even if they did, it's been copied digitally so many times. There's no way to get rid of it. It's a STD, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like James Cromwell's just been doing voiceover work recently, although he was on a bunch of episodes of Succession.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm glad he's doing some work.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to hear Jill say Boogaloo. So bad.
And now you have
Boogaloo.
Boogaloo.
Retcons aren't canon. No, they are not. And Booger agrees. Oh, interviews with the director count now. Do they, Scotty? And Deckard is definitely a replicant. Wait, what? When did you say the director was canonizing something? I wasn't paying attention.
I was just referencing a interview with George Miller, and now someone thinks that they have checkmated me.
Oh, no, you were just describing the timeline of the movies. That's all you were doing about. Okay, that's different. No, he wasn't saying Mad Max is secretly bisexual or something. He's just
secretly.
Yeah.
You should see the director's got to be on Thunderdome. He's just chugging.
That's like when I said I'd be happy if they stopped with 5 Mad Max films. I didn't say that applied to any other franchise.
Um, hmm.
Well, but that's the thing,
Oh,
and that like I don't think it's
I didn't
fair.
read that comment again. PvP.
I just there again. There's an audience for.
No, I was
there's
just
an
getting
audience
what
for stuff.
what Scotty was saying there. Anyway,
Like there's an audience for things. Certain people like certain things. There's stuff out there that doesn't exist, and it's like, or they're making new stuff and they're trashing it. Like every time, I get so excited and so happy when Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones starts crashing and burning, and it sucks and it's terrible because I don't care for it, and so it's like, okay, fine, good. I don't care.
But some of your friends care.
Yeah, so.
But didn't
Like
you
that-
criticize? Didn't you criticize people that hate stuff just for hating it and love to see it crash and burn?
I don't hate
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings
that's-
just for the sake of hating it. I hate it because it's boring.
Well,
Yeah, he
that's
just
what I said
doesn't-
about. That's what I said about.
He just doesn't
about,
like it.
That's what I said about Thunder Road. It's boring. It's the
No,
same thing.
I know, but my opinion's valid.
And so is mine.
No, that's where that's
Okay,
where this argument falls down.
Okay, Scotty,
I've got to.
you're not playing by the rules now.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, hold on just a second, guys.
Please
I've got to help my daughter with something. Can you please read and discuss this comment? I have not watched anything made by Roddenberry outside of Star Trek, but I've been meaning to. I think I've watched like a few scenes from The Lieutenant or something. But anyway,
Yeah.
please talk about
Tristan Mendoza in the chat says, have any of you watched the Roddenberry stuff that's non-Star Trek? I sent Jill info on the Questor tapes. And there's the other one that their names escape me right now. Yeah, like
Planet Earth was one, I think.
was it like Earth 2?
Earth 2,
Oh,
something
Andromeda.
like that. Andromeda, well, that was after Roddenberry had passed on, so that was
Right.
an unfinished idea that Robert Hewitt Wolf, season 1 showrunner on Andromeda, took those papers that Roddenberry had left and developed the concept further to make it into an actual filmable TV series. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like,
And-
I think Earth 2 or something. I think you might be right there, Scotty. I know there was a few that came out in the 70s, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. And Jill mentioned
Also-
the Lieutenant as well. I've seen some of the episodes of the Lieutenant, not the entire
Yeah, that was
season.
his first show. I believe I know Nichelle Nichols actually appeared in an episode that was quite controversial because she was like a black lady, and I think some of the southern stations refused to air that episode, sadly. From what I've read over the years.
Yeah, it was another example of an interracial couple, in a Roddenberry show.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't it have the fellow from 2001: A Space Odyssey, Lockwood?
Yeah, Gary Lockwood.
He was the star of that show, wasn't he, Scotty? Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
I've only seen like
other-
maybe one episode. I haven't really watched it, but it sounds
I think a bunch
good.
of them are on YouTube.
They probably are. It's amazing what's on YouTube, actually. It's kind of shocking how many great old shows are on here.
Well, and Tristan, I've been trying to get Jill to watch Pretty Maids All in a Row.
Yeah,
the Gene
that's
Roddenberry
probably something
written
I'm going to
feature
see.
film.
Actually, Gorilla's doing that on Cringe Stock next Thursday night, guys.
What?
Yeah,
he's doing it
on
Cringe
Stock.
movie. It's great.
He's doing the watch party. Well, Gorilla, though, I mean, it doesn't mean it is necessarily cringy, because I'm sure Gorilla's never watched it, because he's never seen any of the movies we've covered so far. So, I wouldn't just, use Cringe Talk as an example to pass.
I wouldn't. Wow, that's really.
If you want to join the watch party, it'd be great fun.
Yeah, but the
very
problem is
welcome.
I don't really like watch parties. I like reviews, but I'll think about it.
It's probably not that long.
I'll have to watch. I'll have to watch the movie before I go on to the live stream, because I want to actually be able to listen to it. Because I've been to a Cringe Talk before, and it's good that you guys talk through the entire thing, because because a panel where people are quiet and just like giggling every once in a while, that's boring. So I'm so glad that Gorilla talks through the entire thing, because at least then it's a good show.
It varies. Sometimes we talk a lot, sometimes not so much. But yeah, I get what you're saying there, Jill. Totally. It could be distracting if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I kind of actually want to watch this one. But if I get a chance to watch it, I'll think about it. And also it's Thursday, So,
Yeah,
thanks for the
I'm not
invitation.
even sure. I'm not even sure if I'm going to make it on Thursday next week though, because I've got my holiday coming up, and I got to fly out of the airport early the next morning.
Right,
So I
right. I
might
got to
be
get ready for that.
busy. Yeah, I might be busy packing a suitcase or doing various stuff the night before. So I may or may not be there. I'll hopefully be prepared enough where I can pop in on Thursday night next week. But yeah.
Devil Flyer Momentum says hello, and I want to return the hello. And yes, okay, I got the notice in the private chat. Hamlet 2 is also not canon. Yeah, that makes sense. It's not. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you got it. It's great.
I used to think when he put that in there that it was just joking, but it's a real movie.
Oh, I want to mention Gene Roddenberry again. Things he did prior to Star Trek. One of my favorites is the Western series Have Gun Will Travel. That was
There you go.
a big hit, 6 seasons, 225 episodes, ran from 1957 all the way through 1963. And one of the main contributors of the scripts, I'm just gonna go through here. Oh darn, I had it.
Well,
Let me
that's okay. Films that
just give me
deserve
a second.
sequels: Buckaroo Banzai, Dread, Alita Battle Angel. I think Alita Battle Angel is getting a sequel, or did get a sequel. Did that get made already?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
here we go. I found it.
They're working on it though, right?
I think so.
Of the 225 episodes of the television series, 24 were written by Gene Roddenberry. And his scripts for Have Gun are really good because I've seen some of those. And he was really, really writing some good stuff back then. So you should check it out. It's actually a fantastic. It's not your average Western because Paladin is a very unusual. He's basically a gun for hire, but he's got a moral streak in him. He's highly educated and he's very good at his job. And he's a very interesting, multi-layered character. So it's definitely a good show to watch.
Oh,
I
I
highly
would love
recommend
to
it.
eventually see everything that Gene Roddenberry had a hand in.
Yeah,
Tristan
well,
Mendoza says, I can agree with Scotty. That's what I think too on the timeline. I wasn't on the latest Aliens get together here, but saw a part, and there is verification of Alien, Blade Runner, Predator shared universe.
Yeah, there are some sort of cross pollinations.
Checkmate, Scotty. You listen to the director's views, or you don't.
Why not both?
Okay. Why not both? Some people believe in death of the author. Some don't. Goodness. Hey, I like Cronenberg on Discovery, says Tristan, and he turns out to be Daniels from Star Trek Enterprise. I don't know I don't know much about. I stopped watching Discovery at season 2, so I don't know who that is. But
you made it all the way to season
Daniels
2.
from
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I made it to season
my.
2, and when I found myself cheering on the AI that wants to be an AI and hoping for the destruction, the promised destruction of the Discovery, and when it instead escaped into the future, I was finished.
Yeah.
I realized I found myself too much actively hating it, and it's just why am I going to continue on with something that despises me so much?
If I don't like
that
something,
I despise so much,
if I don't
or
like it, I
despises
just don't
me.
watch.
I said it correctly. It
Yeah, I just don't
despises
watch.
me in its creation.
Yeah, I'm not interested in hate watching stuff either. Like if I don't like a show, I just don't bother with it. I just ignore it. Like that's to me the best way to criticize any show is just to bloody ignore it and not give it the time of day.
Exactly. But Tristan finds some good stuff in it, and so I'm glad somebody does.
Oh, that's all right.
And so he says there are some things he appreciates here and there in STD, and he can't understand why you can't take the good and then say, but these things suck. The problem is so many more things, the bad outweighed the good in that
Well,
one to
for
such a
me,
degree.
the ones I watched, which weren't many, I must admit, there was no good. It was just all suck.
Yeah,
So that was
pretty
my
much.
experience, right? So yeah.
Right, and then as soon as you start giving Spock learning disorders and just completely changing his character, that's the thing that usually turns me off. If you
That's
mess with Spock, it's just
well, it's
it's not going to work out for me.
it's very
Eh,
disrespectful to Leonard Nimoy's memory too, to give the great character he created so flawlessly, disabilities. Like what? Come on, the real Spock never had disabilities. He was one of
And it's
the
not, and there's no
you know
problem with actually having a
smartest.
character. Like if you want to have a new character who
Well,
perseveres
yeah,
despite some kind of challenge that they were born with, that would be great to explore. But
a
you
new
don't saddle
character.
that with a legacy character. It's not right.
Exactly. Don't change the legacy. Like it just bugs me when they do that. It's like, was that Strange New Worlds episode they had Spock singing and dancing or something? I'm going to actually take a look at that one of
I don't
these years.
I don't remember him dancing. He was singing about his lost love, Nurse
Yeah,
Chapel, and so I was just like, "What?
that sounds so cringe. I gotta actually
What is
watch.
happening?"
Actually, I should recommend that episode to Girl and put it on cringe stock. It'd probably be worthwhile.
Oh,
I just can't
those
imagine
are okay.
Spock
Oh my
singing.
gosh, he does. He does. But oh my
The
goodness.
dancing is even worse, though. I gotta say, because at least in the original series, he did sing with the space hippies, right? So I can kind of overlook the singing, but
Yeah, that's true. Well, he has his little
his little
lyre, his
Vulcan
Vulcan lyre.
liar,
What is it
yeah.
called?
I call it a liar. I don't remember what they called it in the show, if they
I
called it
bet it
anything.
has a name.
Probably.
It's Star Trek. They name everything.
I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised you made it through the first season, Jill.
But I think we had a pretty good short leave here today. I could go on.
Yeah.
I could keep talking and stuff, but I think this is a pretty good well
Yeah,
rounded stream.
I'm
We
actually
talked about Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, and we talked about a few other things. I
a
think
Oh,
it
few
was a
other
good time.
things. Yeah. Yeah, I got to bail soon anyway, and it looks like Scotty might have to go too from looking at the private
Yes,
chat here.
he does.
Because I got an appointment in about 50 minutes from now, roughly. So yeah, I got to get ready for that. But I can
Yeah,
hang around for a couple
and
more minutes.
usually I end like 30 minutes before this, so it's perfect.
I remember you used to always end around 1 p.m. my time here. Yeah.
Yeah, usually I'd be finished by now because I'd have to go pick up my children, but it's summertime. School's
There
out.
you go. School's out.
Yes,
I remember
that
that
song.
song.
It's a good song.
I love that song.
Well, I
I
played it the day I picked them up from school
Oh,
on the
cool.
last day.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And
well,
so
thank you again, Jill. It's so
you're
great. I'm
welcome.
glad that I could sort of twist your arm into watching Sky Captain, and I'm glad that you enjoyed
You
it.
kind of did.
So
I
I'm
did,
really
and I
excited.
didn't realize when you suggested it that it was a movie that you didn't like. I didn't. I always assumed that you choose things that you love, and then this isn't even something that you loved. It was just something that you wanted to revisit.
Yeah, I wanted to give it another look, and I'm glad I did because I was pleasantly surprised by enjoying it this go around. And so, for any of the people who I have said over the years that it's Sky Crafton and the Crap of Crap Morrow, I have evolved. I have changed my mind. My tastes have matured with me. And
Well, I'll tell you
so
how
yeah,
you described it before you watched it. You said this was a GoBots version of um, the Rocketeer.
yes, and I again I have to alter my perception on that one because while the Rocketeer is more grounded in reality, this one is sort of this is a rock and rolling adventure yarn that was a great way to spend an hour and 45 minutes.
It was, and so I just assumed that you always liked it because of the way of how much I enjoyed it. So thanks for bringing it up, and I can't wait to see what we explore in the future. So, could you tell us what you're
Yeah, I
doing
can't wait, and
next?
it'll be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're up to this weekend. I know I think we're back on Cinema Gulp next Wednesday doing the Hump Day Happy Hour. And Kat and I are we just finished our entire Fargo retrospective and review of the 5 seasons and the movie. And yeah, so everything is in a state of flux, but you can find me on the Phantasmagorium, on Cinema Gulp, and of course, whenever you roll out the red carpet, Jill. And yeah, Scotty
Absolutely.
R37 on X. So thank you very much. Thank you, PvP. Thank you, chat.
Well, thank you, Scotty.
And I will see you guys in the future.
Yep.
See you, Scotty. Thank you so much for hanging out today.
Have a good night there, Scotty.
Yay. Cheers, guys.
Well,
Yeah,
see you later.
Cheers. See you. Bye.
Hooray. Hooray, that was Scotty R37. I thank him for bringing something fun to talk about for Shore Leave. Usually we don't do complete reviews on Shore Leave, but he asked for one, and so it happened.
It certainly did.
Next? What's the next topic and time? Oh, for my channel, well, on Tuesday I'm going to talk about Star Trek Continues for the last time on Tuesday. I mean, obviously it can come up anytime on Friday, but next Friday I'm going to do a deep dive review of the final 2 episodes of Star Trek Continues To Boldly Go. And we may have some very special guests on Tuesday. I'm not sure how it's going to go with that or how that's going to work quite yet. So I'm not going to promise who or what or how. But I'm going to have fun with it. It's going to be the last one. I think I want to start that one an hour. Well, no, wait. I don't have to start an hour early because I can go late. So it'll start at normal time. And the Friday after that, I might have an interview next Friday also. So we'll see what's going on there. And let me just answer this in just a second. And there, I typed. Yeah, and oh, hey, wait a minute. What's going on here? Yes, so that's what's going to happen on Tuesday. So thank you so much for asking. And oh, I know Scotty's not here anymore, but Daniel wanted to ask him a question. Did you know that the bi-generation that the Doctor went through in the 60th anniversary had a ripple effect on the timeline? All the Doctors across time and space big generated and are back. I didn't know anything about that.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not going to comment on Doctor Who.
Okay. Yeah, then there's your answer there. I'm working on it. I'm working on watching Doctor Who, and so I've only gotten to season 3 of the new stuff. I haven't gone back to the 60s yet. I know that's where I should be.
I've seen some of the 60s stuff. It's pretty good, actually, Jill.
I believe it. I believe it. There's a reason it's high up on my list.
The newer stuff, though, I would pass on. I really would.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it since the David Tennant stuff some years back, but the last couple of Doctors sound pretty horrific as far as the scripts go, like really bad.
Well, I'm not hearing anything good, so I think I'm just going to watch up to. I'm gonna watch.
I think Capaldi is the last Doctor that fans
that.
generally enjoyed, and
That's
after that, it goes off the cliff.
So I'll make sure to stop after that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard anyway. Yeah.
Tristan Mendoza says, changing the subject, Colossus, the Forbin Project.
Oh, that's really good.
That's
actually a 70s TV movie, and it's really good. It's about basically it's kind of about an AI computer that takes over the world, and it doesn't end well. I'll put it that way. It's really good.
You know what? I've heard of this, but for some reason it is not on my list, and it is now on my list. Thinking this will prevent war, the U.S. government gives an impenetrable supercomputer total control over launching nuclear missiles. but what the computer does with the power is unimaginable to its creators. Oh,
Well,
yeah, anything with the supercomputer. That sounds like fun.
the thing is, Jill, the Russians have a supercomputer of their own, and the two computers hook up together. And
Ooh.
you can imagine what happens after that. It's pretty scary stuff, actually. It's really a good, really good movie, actually. Really, really good.
Mm. I'll check it out. Yeah, that's fun.
I think it's only about 90 minutes, too. I can't remember how long exactly, but I don't think it's overly long.
Jim Dowell says Alita 2 has been teased by Rodriguez, but I don't think anything has actually been done. I loved that movie and want a sequel. Yes, from what I understand, it's a great, great movie that deserves that sequel.
Forbidden
Mm.
Project's 100 minutes, so it's not overly long.
Oh, hold on just a second. I'm sorry about that. Whenever my phone goes off, it rings through my Bluetooth speaker, and so I need to.
Oh.
I have to turn off the Bluetooth on my phone, and now that won't happen anymore.
There you go.
Solutions live on the internet. Okay. Because getting my phone piped through my headphones while I'm trying to have a show, that's not fun. Let's not have that.
Yeah, that
Daniel's
makes
Hot
sense.
Topic says, I can't wait for Starfleet Academy. But Daniel, they're putting it in the Discovery timeline. Like, even if you had any kind of hope for new Star Trek for whatever crazy reason, they're not even putting it in a good timeline. What is going on? Like, oh, let's put it in the timeline of our absolute worst show. Like, I don't like any of it. Anything past 2005 is Star Trek in name only for me. But they're trying to fail even before they begin.
Yeah, I can indefinitely wait forever to never see it, actually. After Discovery, I was pretty much done. I mean, I didn't watch
Well,
much of it, but it was so bad.
well, Burger 414 is correct. The real Spock never had a sister either, but here we are.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Good point, Booger.
The real Vulcan had no moon. This is true. Spock says Vulcan has no moon. But my favorite depiction of Vulcan is on the animated series where they show that Vulcan has a sister planet. And so that would explain how Vulcan still has, life in terms of being able to control the tides and all of the normal things that theoretically a planet needs to have civilization and weather that's controllable. I'm not sure. It's all theory and stuff that I need to look into to verify. But having a sister planet achieves the objective of that, plus also still making Spock correct when he says Vulcan has no moon.
Yeah, the animated series is pretty good at sticking with canon established in the original series, wasn't it, Joe? I mean, even though they changed stuff up, they stuck pretty close to keeping the
Cousin Dolly
canon
Picker, you
correct.
cut out for me, Skin. Oh,
I
there
was
you
just
are.
going to say
Now I
the
hear you.
animated
Yes,
series was
agreed.
good at adding stuff, but still sticking with the original canon of the original series. So yeah,
That was because it was the showrunner was effectively DC Fontana, and
right.
her main goal was to make sure that they wrote episodes as if it was like. She didn't want people to just say, "Oh, it's cartoony, so make it cartoony."
No,
It was
very
Star
much.
Trek,
It was very
and you
much for
could have
adults too. It wasn't a kiddie show by any means.
no, it wasn't. You could have put it on a real, that you could have made it live action. Any of those episodes, except for
Definitely.
some of the episodes that utilized the animation process to get over some things that would have been too complicated budget wise to
Yeah.
do in reality.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen a live action version of like Yesteryear, but that would have been probably tough to produce with the sea lot. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
So
the Sale. Oh, yeah.
yeah, but that was
You could
well,
do the
that's my
Sale
favorite.
now, but
That's
definitely
yeah,
in the 60s
CGI.
that
Yeah.
would have been really cost prohibitive.
Oh yeah,
How many people would you need to fit into the Sale costume?
yeah, and I don't think it would. I don't think it would probably work actually, because as much as I love TOS, the Magatu, not 100% convincing, I gotta say, but I still love it.
Mhm.
Uh,
No, yeah, I love it too. And so I was always wondering, man, the Mugatu just wanted to mate, but I guess it got too aggressive. Poor thing.
oh gosh.
The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins is an underrated song.
And the
It's,
video is awesome. You've seen the video, I imagine, right, Jill?
oh, of course
I
I have.
probably I probably
Yeah.
brought it up before, but yeah,
No,
it's
but
it's
the funny thing is everybody in that video is wearing little pointed ears because hobbits have pointed ears, kind of like elves, but except for Leonard Nimoy.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny, isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
Jim's Landscape says he's doing a live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Time reviewing my fan films. Oh, hey, that's a great idea for a show. So if you're curious about what Jim's Landscape does for his Star Trek fan films, check out his live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Time
Hi, Jim.
to get reviews from the creator himself. The Phantom Boomer Explorer says this movie had potential. Could have been better. I like the idea of retro history of roughly 1930s era, but not the way they executed this. Mhm. Yeah, and I can understand that. The Rocketeer did it better. Yeah, and I think that was kind of the way Scotty thought about the movie before he rewatched it again. He has a new appreciation now.
I'm
Captain
gonna
Affinity says, or maybe Sean Combs is an unreliable narrator. But okay,
I'm
PvP, do
gonna
you have to go?
yeah, I gotta go, Jill.
Okay.
Because my appointment, I gotta leave in about half an hour, so I
All
gotta get ready here.
right.
Um,
So, is there anything you want to share with
yeah,
the
I was
the
just gonna
chat
say
with the listeners?
I've been putting up a lot of stuff about the punk band The Damned over the last month, and the fan videos from their North American concerts have been appearing on YouTube for about a week now, and I actually have put a lot of those into a playlist. All this actually, I got most of the songs. I actually found some of the set lists because the fans have been posting the set lists from the different concerts, and they're sticking pretty generally to the same set list every concert. It seems. I guess they're playing all the fan favorites basically, plus throwing in a few miscellaneous things. Uh, so I have taken the fan videos, the best quality ones I could find, because some songs, of course, there's several different fans versions from different cities. So I have basically strung together a complete, pretty much a complete concert with all the songs in the set lists are doing, which is around 21, 22 songs right now. I've strung those together in a playlist with the songs in order of the way they are playing them live in the current tour. So if anybody wants to get
In order.
in order, the songs in order from the first song to the last song that they're doing in the concert set. So if anybody wants to have a general experience of the Damned live on their current tour, that's probably about as close as you're going to get unless you actually have a ticket to go see them. So I thought
Well,
that
there
might be
you
kind of
go.
fun. Yeah,
So, if
I have.
anybody likes the Damned and they want to have a pretend concert, and they can
Yeah,
dance in their living room to
and
PvP's playlist.
most of the quality is not bad. Like sometimes cell phone videos aren't great, but a lot of it seems to be quite well shot, and the sound is pretty good as far as hearing the vocals and the band balance. I picked the best I could. So yeah, I'm going to make it public this weekend. I have not yet because want to add a bit of a write up to the playlist that I haven't done yet. But yeah, I should be posting that in the next day or so, Jill. So I just wanted to give folks a heads up if they want to check out my channel. That would be cool. And that's
Yes,
about it,
please
I guess.
do.
As
And
far as being
so,
on YouTube, I might not be in as much this week because I'm getting ready to for the trip, but I might pop in on some streams if I have the time.
that sounds fair enough. And I was only curious about the damned concerts. Are they taking encores?
They are. They're generally doing 2 encores.
Okay,
It
that's
seems.
good. I always
Yeah,
love a band that does that. That's fun.
yeah. They
Okay,
are
and that's all I have for
generally
you.
saving a few of their best songs for the end, but they are throwing in some weird stuff. Well, actually, the last song they seem to be doing is one by the MC5 because they kind of are fans of the '60s, early '70s group, the MC5, which was one of the really heavy bands back then, kind of proto punk stuff, and it kind of fits in well with the Dam sound. So they're doing MC5 song, generally the last song on the tour during the set. So that's kind of fun.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about all the things we talked about today, PvP,
Yeah,
and I
it was
hope you
fun.
have a great day and your appointment goes well. And I'll
Yeah,
talk to you later.
okay. We'll see you, Jill. Thanks. That
See
was a
ya.
lot for fun. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And so that was Pleasant Valley Picker CA. So today we had on the panel Scotty R37 and PvP. And since I'm the only one left on the panel, I'm going to do this so that I am this size. And so now you can still see the stars and me in a normal size. The Rocketeer. Yeah, I really love The Rocketeer. What a lovely movie. And Keithy says, later, see you all down the road. Yes, have a wonderful day, Keithy. I hope you have a great Friday, great weekend. A long interview with George Miller. I have not seen this interview with George Miller. I should listen to more interviews and take note of what I think about them. It might be interesting thing to review interviews. Take care. Take care, Adam Gray. Oh, Booger414 says tomorrow I will be in New York City for Ghostbusters Day. Wow. Well, that's cool. Are you going to the firehouse? What kind of celebration is this? That sounds really cool. It sounds better than a parade. Remember, Kirk ain't Pike. Don't get them confused. Agreed. They are very different captains. Very different characters. And I'm so happy that Gene Roddenberry finally canonized Captain Christopher Pike when he turned the cage into the menagerie. Booger414 says, who? What? When? Where? Why? Oh, you only missed one. How? Now you got all the questions. All the important questions to ask when you are completing a story like Polly Perkins in Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. She's kind of a fun character. Basically, her entire plot thread is, hey, I have this camera and I got to get this story. This, and so she does get her story, but the comedy value in it is that she only has these two. She only has these two shots left that she can take because they lost the bag that had all her film in it. And so the first time she sets off a shot, she accidentally takes a picture of the ground. And then later on, when she has the absolute perfect shot of all the animals in their capsules escaped from the rocket, I don't know how they got all the animals back into their little capsules and then got them to be released from the rocket in parachutes. I wish I would have asked this question when Scotty was here. I bet he knows the answer of how that happened. Because I watched this movie last night, and I think I might have missed some important thing that happened to explain it. And probably something to do with the computer or something. and and then the final joke is she doesn't decide to take a picture of the thing that would give her the best newspaper story. She decides to take a picture of the sky captain, and then just to, I guess, prove how much she cares about him. And then he says, "Lens cap." To my mind, there's only one Star Wars movie. Um, I'd say there's 6. I've seen, yeah, 6. There are also 12 Time Lords, or 13 if you count the War Doctor, portrayed by late Sir John Hurt. Oh man, 30 seasons of Power Rangers. I kind of stopped after the first one. I think when the Green Ranger became the White Ranger, I think that's probably around when they had the first movie. When I was a kid, that was about when I ended my Power Rangers fandom. Tristan says, I need to catch up on those. Oh, God. To Boldly Go is what made me watch to try to get people to get Kipley Brown to be Susan Storm in the MCU. Oh, you were fan casting Susan Storm as Kipley Brown from Star Trek Continues. Oh, right, Susan. Yes, she's already a Susan, so that makes sense. So, oh, wow, wait a minute. I didn't really think too much about Kipley Brown before. I'm glad her name is Smith in Star Trek Continues. Yeoman Smith. Does she have a first name? Oh. But she was actually in an episode of Star Trek Enterprise's 3rd season, The Forgotten. Kipley Brown was in. She was in Star Trek before. Okay, I might have put this in my review, but I don't remember. And so also she voiced some characters in Star Trek Online. Doctor Who comes into its own in the 70s, says Booger. The newer stuff was almost a different show, but they tried hard with a couple of doctors. And Booger414 says, let's just stop wasting time and start the Cult of Landru. And yeah, right. From Return of the Archons. And yeah, that would be funny. And are you of the body? Captain Notfinity says that George Miller interview actually ruined Mad Max for me. Oh, so he saw the interview too. Apparently, it's all unreliable narrations. Screw that. Oh, well, okay, I guess I don't have the context for that. Vulcan had a sister planet? Not canonical. I'm not sure if it's canonical because Roddenberry says the anime series isn't, but I think it is. And I like to think that because it helps a lot with the technicalities of how Vulcan works. But I would guess that there's no intelligent life on the other planet.
Mommy?
And hold on just a second. Let me pick a video to play. I'll just play a few videos because I need to step away for a second.
You can't land this in the middle of nowhere.
I'm not. I'm landing it on land.
Who dares come before me?
Who dares enter this place? What is begun cannot be stopped. The time for this world is over.
Tear loves Tiva. Repeat. Tear loves Tiva. Repeat.
And Tristan is not excited with this San Francisco ACA. I don't know what the ACA is. ACA? San Francisco ACA is. I'm not sure. I thought maybe it was some kind of convention or something. You're gonna have to tell me what that is. At this point, Star Trek timelines are like the multiverse throwing up all over the screen. Yeah, that's why everything after 2005, I would say, is Star Trek in name only, but someone who is being nice about it. Like Doug Drexler just says, it's all multiverses. Every single different show made after 2005 is its own separate multi-universe thing. They're all separate universes. And that's the kind of way to look at it. I mistakenly thought they actually made a Wesley Crusher Starfleet Academy series planned, and it failed based on that TNG episode. But decades later, it turns out I was wrong. Oh, based on the time that Wesley lied and someone died. Boogler 414 says TAS did not mess with canon, but it took a long time to be accepted as such. And yes, it did. I accept it. And Tristan says he was 15 when TNG came out. So that's where my age group was. But more closer to people 5 to 10 years older than I am. And TNG debuted a week before my birthday. I was a baby that time. Yeah, I was a baby too. Yes. Captain Finch. Oh my god. He found an interview with William Shakespeare where he explains his shared universe. Oh my goodness. You're a jokester. Sorry you have to go. I'm not into the damned, but am back in that same time period. I'm revisiting Mauve. Oh, I'm sorry you missed telling PvP about that. Yeah, so PvP did have to go. I don't know that band, and I bet he does. If you catch PvP on a panel and you don't care for what he's talking about and you want to talk about music, you can always distract him with, something about music. So that's just a little tip for interacting with PvP on the internet. It says here Macbeth is actually a robot. Macbeth is a replicant? Okay. Now you've gone too far. I'm just kidding. For punk-related rock, I'm more between Gang of Four and Skinny Puppy. Oh, I've heard of Skinny Puppy. Huh. So I screwed that posting. It isn't rock. Oh, okay. Jill, did you watch my interview video? Oh no, who did you interview? I missed it. You have let me see here, Jim's Landscape. No, I didn't get it. I'd have to go to your channel to find it. But while we're here, while we're still hanging out, I've got to switch over to my starred tab because Eugene Bird has given me a gift of 1999, and it's of a cute little lemon by the flower bush, sending out little hearts, and that's really cute. Actually, I could do that. I should be doing that anyway. Is sharing my screen. So let's bring that up. There it is, the live chat. And there's a little lemon. Very cute.
I compute. You compute. We all compute.
I would advise you to keep dialing out, Mix.
And so since we mentioned Buckaroo Banzai today.
No matter where you go, there you are.
You have a point there.
So thank you so much for that present, Eugene Bird. So your to-do list is on your to-do list? I relate with that. Oh, I missed the context for that since I had to skip to find the super chat. Colossus is made for TV. I can't use BT on phone and computer at the same time. BT. And oh, Starfleet. Okay. Oh, Christian meant he's not excited with Starfleet Academy. Yeah, me neither. But I think that's obvious. The only way I'm going to be excited for new Star Trek is if somebody besides Secret Hideout gets a shot. I think they had their chance. They've been working on it since 2017 and they've not done a very good job. I would love to see a different production company get a chance at making Star Trek because I think this was overall a failure. And I want next time to have some creators who have the capability of understanding science fiction, who love it, who can embrace the storytelling that is required to make something fun and interesting and entertaining first, beyond just whatever kind of platitudes they want to espouse. I want to be able to watch when I watch Star Trek made before 2005, I walk away from every episode either entertained, just feeling good, having a good feeling, or the best episodes will inspire me to want to do better, to want to have a life where I make a difference in some kind of way, and or I learn something, or I feel like doing something new. I don't get that kind of feeling with anything after 2005, and the heart and the spirit and the optimism for the future is just not quite there anymore. And so we'll see what happens. I don't know, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anyway. I know that there was a change in Star Trek. Skydance is merging with Paramount, but I don't know if what that's gonna do. Only time will tell. And so I'm writing a to-do list is my next chore. Yeah. A to-do list is on your to-do list. Now I get it. Now I get that comment. Makes sense. Well, lists are great. I get things done if I put it in a list format. Otherwise, I never get started. In this Star Trek Academy, gender studies will be a mandatory class. See, in the future, it shouldn't, those kind of things aren't really necessary. Like, everybody is treated equally. It's a egalitarian society where your success is based on how well you do, how it's meritocracy. And the Starfleet is usually best of the best. Thank you. I have the best giggle. Did I make myself giggle? I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, if any of you actually read my book, don't ask me which one is a clone. I guess he's not going to tell us. So if you ever interview Captain Finity about his book, I think his answer is going to be, you should read my book and find out. So what about Spock with the beard versus Spock with the heater? Booger414 says, you don't need an entertaining story if you just throw a bunch of political agendas into the manatee tank with the plot balls. Yeah, Booger414, that's my problem. I just want good Star Trek. Can we have it? Paramount says ratings and revenue are paramount. You say it, but do they really care? You giggled at something I wrote, which was even better. Oh, nice. Jim Dow says, Star Trek used to be intelligent, the officers were professional. New Trek is dumb, and the crew are children. Oh, that's the perfect way to end this live stream. I agree with that completely. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this shore leave. Today in the panel, we had Scotty R37. Check him out on Cinema Gulp and the Phantasmagorium. PvP was also here. He has a channel if you want to check out his set lists and go to a Pleasant Valley Picker virtual concert. But however, he doesn't post content of his own, but he does a great job curating music. And if you want to hear him on a panel, he shows up on Pop Culture Curators Lost in Space streams. And he's also on Gorilla's Random Thoughts channel and a few other places. And I want to thank everybody also who was in the chat. Thank you to Sentai Ranger Nani. Speaking of Paramount, good news. Comedy Central to pick up the Beavis and Butthead revival for season 3. Expect that to stream on Paramount Plus, but on a next day streaming basis. Interesting. Scotty is already so popular that I'm expanding his role. Unless you're a red shirt and your success is dying. Oh my gosh. Friday Night Frolics with Doomcock is in 3.5 hours. Oh, speaking of other streams, yes, Friday Night Frolics. Definitely check out Doomcock. There's also Appion. Appion is doing a hangout stream right now, but also Bird of Prey 5 is doing his bed life stream. That's not a bad idea, actually. I'm going to see who's streaming right now. And so you can have a choice of who you want to hang out with if you want to hang out with them. There's Mr. Brown Alliance. It looks like he's live. Yes, he's live with wait. I don't know. I guess seems interesting. Then UK Danger Man is also live, so check out his. What is he doing? He's doing an evening in 10 Ford Star Trek Picard revisit. Oh, okay. So he's revisiting some past Star Trek in name only stuff. And of course, Bird of Prey 5 is having his bed life. Pacific 414, the Comic Relief Crusader. Wow, look at all these people. I think if you're interested in other streams, check out my community tab. I'll be sharing out all of these streams. But for now, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Have a wonderful Friday. I'll play a few videos to close this out.
Brain and brain! What is brain?
Now you're sounding like Spock. If you're gonna get nasty, I'm gonna leave.
Oh, Herbert, you are stiff.
Yes, he's infuriating, sir. How can you stand it?
I don't know why I just played like a whole bunch of really mean clips. Oh, because I'm on the adversarial clips tab. That makes sense. Let's try some first contact clips. Oh wait, no, let's do these.
You all look at me as if I'm some kind of saint or visionary or something.
I don't think you're a saint, Doc. But you did have a vision.
I didn't build this ship to usher in a new era for humanity. I built this ship so that I could retire to some tropical island filled with naked women.
Risk is our business.
Liberty and freedom have to be more than just words. There are certain things men must do to remain men.
Oh, I forgot the most important thing about Sky Captain and the world of tomorrow. I know I just closed out my show, but the most important thing is that it did have this quote. I meant to mention it. I just woke up my cat. I think she's angry with me.
All I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by.
Captain's log supplemental. I've been exhausted, but has my judgment been compromised?
Forgive the attack. The drone sensors thought you're another Romulan invader. The biosigns are almost identical.
Surrender is not the Romulan way, Captain.
We can't trust our senses.
Gentlemen.
When this mission is over, I will miss these times with you.
Energize.
I'm ordering you to pursue those Romulans into the zone.
Hold your fire! He's releasing ectoplasma!
Romulan weapon reaching full charge in 3, 2, 1.
Basic maneuvers. Brace for impact.
Learn all that is learnable. And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
See you around the galaxy.